You can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed and start to move your balls. Wake up with WURD and Solomon Jones. WURD. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with WURD. Kuwaisa, a whole lot going on today. It's been 6 months since white folks stormed the Capitol.
Yeah.
A whole half a year, so we got to talk about that. This whole thing is crazy, man, and they are like losing their minds. Now, I got to talk about the people in your hood. Yeah, I mean, your people over in Jersey.
I know.
So apparently this guy, went on this racist rant against his neighbors and was like, all right, come see me, right? And they came like 50 deep and protested outside his house. So, I mean, what happened with that, Kuwaisa?
Yeah, I mean, the police took him away. Apparently, he had been doing stuff like this before, but there was no proof. And now there was proof. So they were able to take him away. He went up there, was talking to, like, it was in regards to, like, a homeowners association or something like that. And he went to this black man's house and was just in his face and talking about, we don't do things like they do in Africa and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, I was born here. What are you talking about? So it was insane. And yeah, towards the end of it, he's like, yeah, come find me, and gave out his address and everything. Then he tried to address the crowd, right? Yeah. He came out his house, was like, I don't know what I got to do to be better. I was drunk. Nah, like, that's where I live. Like, come on. This is like a little more than 20 minutes from where I live. That's what I'm telling you. Jersey, I have seen more, I've encountered more racist people up here than I ever did when I was down south.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Facts. Straight up fact. And it's a deep thing, man. It's a deep thing to see it kind of play out. But you know what I'm noticing is that when this stuff happens and when the protests jump off, it's not just us protesting. I am noticing that. Did you notice the crowd?
Yeah, it was mixed. Yeah. You got a lot of white folks who are out here like, nah, man. Yeah. Listen, cousin, like, nah, we can't. Y'all, no, stop. Like. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on because that is important. But got to talk about this, man, because it would be easy to conclude that black women are under attack by the folks running the Olympics since U.S. track star Sha'Carri Richardson has been bounced for smoking weed, which is not a performance-enhancing drug. And the International Swimming Federation has banned the use of swimming caps designed for natural black hair at the Tokyo Olympics. Sha'Carri, unfortunately, smoked weed when she knew it was banned. And as backward as it is to ban a drug that has nothing to do with performance, Sha'Carri knew the rules, she broke them, and she's taking responsibility. Maybe, just maybe, she'll get to compete in the 4x100, but the fact that she won't get to run in her two best events is a loss for all of us. The swim cap thing, that's something else altogether. The International Swimming Federation, better known as FINA, drew heavy criticism after Soul Cap, a UK-based brand, announced that FINA refused to approve the caps designed for swimmers with thick, curly, and voluminous hair, in other words, black hair, in international competitions. They claim the caps do not follow the natural form of the head. Now, this feels like y'all coming after the sisters. And that's why FINA has faced widespread condemnation for this nonsense. Because if their hair grows out of their head, that's the natural form of their head. Like, what are you talking about? So if FINA is committed to ensuring that all athletes have access to appropriate swimwear for competition, do the right thing, approve the swim caps, and let these black women compete. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with WURD. CNN commentator Roxanne Jones on the Sha'Carri Richardson controversy, Kamala Harris, and more. Dr. Delana Wardlaw and Dr. Elena McDonald have the latest on the virus and vaccines. Famed black sculptor Richard Hunt
on his newest piece, The Light of Truth, Ida B. Wells National Monument in Chicago, and Thomas Farrington of the Prostate Health Education Network stops by as well. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065. A toll-free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at onWURD. But first, it's the big three, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number one, Bill Cosby called on Howard University to support former co-star Felicia Rashad's freedom of speech after she expressed support for him when his sexual assault conviction was overturned. In a statement, Cosby also lashed out at the media, comparing journalists to the rioters who stormed the Capitol in January. Howard University, you must support one's freedom of speech, Ms. Rashad, which is taught or supposed to be taught every day at that renowned law school, which resides on your campus, Cosby said in a statement provided to NPR by his spokesman, Andrew Wyatt. This mainstream media has become the insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol, Cosby continued. Those same media insurrectionists are trying to demolish the Constitution of these United States of America on this Independence Day. Cosby concluded by saying, "We the people stand in support of Miss Felicia Rashad," in all caps. Cosby's support of Rashad comes after the actress who played his TV wife in The Cosby Show defended the comedian in a tweet. Cosby was released from prison last week when the Pennsylvania Supreme Court vacated his sexual assault conviction on the grounds that his due process rights were violated. Finally, a terrible wrong is being righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected, Rashad said last week. The tweet has since been removed, and Rashad kind of backed off of that, writing that she fully supports survivors of sexual assault coming forward. She also sent a letter of apology to Howard students. And here's the thing. Bill Cosby ain't helping her right now. Like, dude, you're not helping her. Please be quiet. Please don't say nothing about her. Please don't bring it up. Let her kind of like walk that back. You know she supports you. You know what I mean? She's your friend. That's cool. You know it. She know it. Leave it alone. Because you mentioning this, I think it's making things worse for her than you just being quiet. Kawesa, what do you think?
Yeah, it's messy. Yeah, as soon as I said this, I was like, no.
Yup.
Yes, I agree that everyone should have, a right to free speech, but at the same time, when you work for an organization, you need to be careful about the things that you say. And she's walking it back. She's doing the damage control that she needs to do. I do not think, or nor do I feel, that Howard should be letting her go, or there should be. I don't think that at all. They need her. So just let her handle it. I cringed. I was like, no. Just let her handle it. She doesn't need the help. It's a little bit different. If she's supporting you, it's a little different than you shouting her. No, don't.
Yeah,
don't do
just
that.
Keep her name out your mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. You're not helping her, dog. You hurting her. You know what I mean? Because we're not even sure if we want to welcome you back yet. For real, you want to, no, you're not helping. You're not helping. So I really think that Bill Cosby does, to your point, Kawesa, need to let her handle this on her own. I think she's going to be just fine. That's not helping. Story number two, nationally, there were over 150 people fatally shot in more than 400 shootings over the July 4th weekend. 20 were shot in Philadelphia alone. All of them are heartbreaking, but in West Philly, the grief is palpable. Amid fireworks and July 4th celebrations throughout the city, 2 young men were killed. A teenage girl was hurt as up to 100 shots were fired into a crowd of people celebrating outside a West Philadelphia storefront Sunday night. The shooting took place around 10:40 p.m. outside Premier Brand store along 60th Street between Chestnut and Walnut. A cookout advertised on Instagram by the young owner of the fashion brand was taking place at the time, according to family and social media posts. Investigators said anywhere from 90 to 100 shots may have been fired from one or more gunmen, striking at least 2 young men and a 16-year-old girl. Rapid gunfire mixed with fireworks made it hard to know where the shooting was coming from. Sarkar Johnson Jr., 23, was the owner of the store and the organizer of the event. The second victim was identified as 21-year-old Salaladeen Mahmoud, in a news release from State Senator Sharif Street's office Monday afternoon. The release said Mahmoud was a first cousin of Street's wife, April. Both men died of their injuries. The 16-year-old girl survived. The 3 victims were among 20 people police said were shot in Philadelphia between Sunday and Monday. 5 of them died from their wounds. According to his father, Sakar Johnson Jr. began designing urban streetwear in his grandmother's basement when he was just 14 and pursued his passion throughout adulthood, launching Premier Band in 2018. There's no reason he should be dead, his father said. He didn't do anything in his life that deserved this. Johnson Sr. said his relatives always celebrate when the men in their family make it to 23 because his father died at that age. Just heartbreaking, Kuwaisa. But these are the stories we keep hearing over and over again.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking. I know that when I had, read this story yesterday, it brought tears to my eyes. It really did. So young. And then to hear his father say that the men in his family, are not making it to 23 or just making, he had just celebrated a birthday, so it broke my heart. And the fact that there were so many victims over the weekend, it's heartbreaking. It really is.
It absolutely is. Which brings me to story number 3, when racists come to Philly. Yep, when 200 members of the white supremacist group, the Patriot Front, marched around Philadelphia City Hall on Independence Day, I found myself asking a single question. How do people find time for this nonsense? But after my confusion settled into anger, I realized that people will find time for whatever gives them purpose. And right now, white Americans must find purpose in fighting racism. With Americans needlessly dying from COVID when vaccines could save their lives, with gun violence bringing death to the workplace, street corners, and homes, with politicians arguing over infrastructure as buildings collapse in our midst, America doesn't have time for hate. That's why whites who believe in this country must join us in the fight against racism. White folks can't stand by and watch as racists arrive with plastic shields and hateful rhetoric. They can't let them pass off racism as patriotism, because the Patriot Front is anything but patriotic, and their own writings confirm it. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Patriot Front, which was founded in 2017 after the Charlottesville riots, calls for the creation of a white state, claims that democracy has failed, and says that the African, quote, may have lived, worked, and even been classed as a citizen in America for centuries, yet he is not American, unquote. Unfortunately, they came to Philly with that racist foolery, and they were chased through the streets by black and white citizens before several members of the Patriot Front were arrested. But guess what? This is not a police problem. This got to be solved by white folks confronting their own people and challenging racism head on. Now, I'm glad, I am thrilled that some white Philadelphians understood that and joined the fight on the 4th, but chasing a couple hundred racists out of town is just the beginning. To beat racism, we need white folks in this fight until the end. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things that we're talking about on this morning's show. I am a firm believer that racism is a white problem. It is a problem that has to be solved around your kitchen table. It is a problem that has to be solved in your workplaces. It is a problem that has to be solved on the golf course, in the corporate headquarters, in the boardroom, in all the places where we're not. Because y'all need to be checking each other. It got to this point because we elected somebody who made racism cool again. That's why we're at the point that we're at now, where people are storming the Capitol, where people are talking about come see me at my house, where people are coming to Philadelphia waving flags with these stupid little plastic shields in Penske trucks. Like, that's how we got to this point. Y'all have to let them know that it's not cool, because they're going to say things in those spaces that they just not going to say to us because they don't have a heart, right? There are some things that only you can address within your midst. And, you know, I appreciate that when I see these protests, that these protests are multicultural. It's the first thing that I pointed out to my children when we went to protest the very first time, right, some years ago, right? And I said to them, I want y'all to look around. What do you see? We see different kinds of people. I said, yeah, that's right. Make sure that you always know that everybody is not a racist. Everybody is not against you. You have to judge people as individuals, right? But the bottom line is that, you know, we need white folks to come out and solve this. Y'all got to solve this. These are your people. These are your crazy uncles, right? These are your racist friends. These are your coworkers. These are people that you know they racist, and you just letting it just go. No. If we're going to solve this, this has got to be y'all. Y'all got to do this, right? Now, we always going to fight against it. We're going to fight against it because it's wrong. But one thing that I am at peace with is that I'm not out here hating nobody, man. I don't have time to be hating nobody. I don't have time. I'm not traveling, you know, across the country to go talk about how much I hate somebody. That's stupid. I don't have time for that. I got to work. You know what I mean? I got to take care of my family. And that's why when I see stuff like this, I'm like, who has time? Do you people have jobs? Like, do you have families? Do you have responsibilities? How you got time to travel across the country, to show up someplace in little rental trucks with little plastic shields and matching khakis talking about reclaim America? Give me a break. But in order for this to be solved, all of us have to address it, and especially those in the white community. If you don't believe in this, if you ain't down with this, and I know there are millions who are not, then y'all got to speak up. It can't just be us. We're going to go to break. On the other side, I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Hey, WURD family, did you hear? It's official. The Colorectal Cancer Alliance just announced the new age for colon cancer screenings has been officially lowered to age 45 for everyone. If you are 45 or older, it's time to get screened. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner to register for your free at-home screening test. Did you know colon cancer is largely preventable with on-time screening? And there's a 90% survival rate when caught early. African Americans are 20% more likely to get colon cancer and about 40% more likely to die from it than most other groups. So for the next 3 months, you can go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner for your free at-home screening test. A screening navigator will contact you to ask a few questions and help you get screened. It's that simple. Again, just go to WURDradio.com, click on the Go to Know banner, and fill out the form to request your free at-home screening test. Go to Know today. Support small, Black, and Brown-owned businesses by joining the Diverse Procurement Collaborative, a community of business leaders committed to supplier diversity. Get engaged at chamberphl.com.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Well, we're definitely seeing the pace pick up a little extra as we get into the thick of our morning commute here. The Vine Street Expressway westbound being an example of that. The 8th Street ramp through the Schuylkill, very heavy through that stretch. Interestingly enough, we're really not doing all that bad on the eastbound side of the Vine. Turning our attention from here to the Schuylkill, eastbound's a little heavy, the boulevard through Girard. And then on the westbound side, you're jammed solid well in advance of that construction down in South Philly, brought on through Passyunk. Further west, you hit the brakes again, University through South. Continuing delays after that, Conshohocken Curve through Conshohocken. And then back to jammed solid conditions well in advance of that construction zone near 202, where we have the left lane taken out for sinkhole repair. And that's the latest look at your traffic. For more traffic information, be sure to check out SIGAlert.com. I'm Eric Herr with your Philadelphia traffic update.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Sunshine this morning, a chance of storms later this afternoon, this evening, and steamy all day. 95 the high will feel like it is at times more than 100 degrees thanks to the high humidity. Another steamy day tomorrow. 97 the high will feel like more than 100 with a chance of late day showers and thunderstorms. 90 and still steamy on Thursday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms later in the day. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. Yesterday, Kawesa, my wife and I celebrated 24 years since our first date.
Oh, that's so sweet.
We went to this restaurant, and she was like, yeah, you know, and I'm usually the one that's talking about it, but she mentioned it yesterday, like, you know, this is the anniversary of our first date. So we went out on a date yesterday. The difference is now we text our kids and ask them, do they want us to bring them anything back? Like, you know, it was just the two of us, man. You look up 24 years later and you got like almost grown kids. You know, it is amazing. It is amazing. But love her just as much. Looked exactly as beautiful as she did that first date. So we had a good time yesterday just celebrating that, going out on a date. And, you know, so that's where we're at. Now we're talking about people letting dogs poop on our lawn. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, back then it was all fun and games. You know what I mean? Was like, yeah, I went out there yesterday. I'm like, wow, all these flies out here. Right? I look down and, yeah. So we're going to have to look at the cameras, review the footage, and find the culprit.
Yeah, that's rude.
Yeah, it is.
Come on.
It is.
And I've been watching people, too, and I'm like, y'all don't have no doggy bags. Like,
nothing.
y'all just letting the dog poop all over the place, and it's like, come on. And you know, for me, like, I know there's some grass that's like closer to the curb, and then you have the grass that's in front of the house. Let the dogs over by the grass by the curb. Like, don't let them poop like directly on somebody's lawn. Like, what?
That's what I'm saying.
What?
Just nasty. You know. And so yeah, I might have to review the footage, because there's footage.
Oh, I know there is.
215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Shout out to everybody who came out to Great Commission Church yesterday. That, of course, my church mentioned it a lot, 2043 East Burn Avenue. And yesterday I you know, gave the word. And so I appreciate everybody who came out to support and everybody who came out to hear the word. You know what I mean? We appreciate that. We appreciate each and every one of you. Talked a little bit about Independence Day. You know, I eat my barbecue. You know what I mean? I do take my day off, you know, with pay. Enjoy that. But I know it's not my holiday. You know, black people wasn't free. But you know, look, praise the Lord, pass potato salad. Look, so how was your Independence Day, Kawesa?
You know, it was. I didn't do anything. I'll be honest. Like I had to think about it for a second. Like my brother did like a little barbecue. My mom went over there, but I was like, yeah, I'm okay. Like I was good. You know, I made some. I did have some hot dogs. You know, some turkey hot dogs. So I did do that. That was about it. You know, I wasn't really too pressed this year. I don't know. Maybe I didn't feel too super pressed this year. One, because of the fact that, you know, we just celebrated Juneteenth. But then also, you know, these folks out here in my neighborhood was wilding out with these fireworks. And I was just like, I really felt like maybe when I was younger, I was like, oh my gosh, fireworks. But like now that I'm an adult, I'm like, if y'all don't pipe down, like, it was crazy. I'm like, yo, what are y'all celebrating? I was really trying to figure it out, but yeah, it was a little crazy. These little kids were down the street, and I thought somebody was on fire at one point. I ran out thinking I was going to need to get a blanket or something, and then they were just like yelling, screaming, running away, and it was bad, you know. So I just chilled for most of the day.
Yeah, I mean, this fireworks stuff is serious and is dangerous, you know. There was an NFL player who blew off some of his fingers, a guy named Jason Pierre-Paul. Used to play for the Giants. I think he plays for Tampa Bay now, but he blew off some of his fingers with fireworks. You know, over the weekend, a goalie from the NHL died in a fireworks accident. Like that stuff, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you know, don't do anything above firecrackers, man. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Because it's dangerous. And we see it every single year, explosions in warehouses, people that had it stored someplace. You know, you got to be careful with those fireworks. And in the hood, man, it's like, you know, maybe a couple weeks before July 4th, you start hearing fireworks. And then, you know, it's a couple weeks after you keep hearing fireworks. And it's just a lot. So I hear you. We had an interesting July 4th weekend. We were supposed to be getting some work done, right? We'll come in here, right? That's why I married my wife. So, we're getting hardwood floors in the upstairs. We already did it downstairs years ago. So we finally, you know, biting the bullet because we got to move a lot of stuff around. It's just a lot, right? But so the guy comes to do it. And he's from another culture, right? And he comes in and he claims to my wife, oh, this price that I gave you, this is only for 2 rooms. This is not for the 3rd room, right? So she said, all right, tell my husband that, right? So I come upstairs, right, and I holler a little bit, right? A little bit. And I'm like, why would we tell you to come here and just do part of the job? No, we need you to do the whole thing, right? Like, what do you mean it's only for a couple of rooms, right? So my wife said, all right, I tell you what, tell us how many boxes of wood you told us to buy. Well, how many did you buy? Nah, it ain't about how many did we buy. And don't go down there looking, how much wood did you tell us to buy, right? So the guy measures the room or whatever, and she said, now how much is the measurement, right? So the measurement was a certain amount, and she said, all right, now go down there and count the boxes. And it was exactly the measurement for all of the rooms, right? You know, that's why you need somebody smart, man. You don't need no dummies around. You need somebody smart, right? So it's like, okay, well, what about that price now? Oh, well, it's the same. Yeah. But, you know, you're like, all right, well, I'm going to come back. No, you're not coming back. You're done. So we had to get somebody else to do it. Because, you know, once you done lied, once you done tried to scam, like, you can't come in my house, man. You know what I mean? Like, just crazy stuff. Vita was like, yeah, measure how many boxes did you tell us to buy? Kawesa, yo.
I texted you. I was like, she is on it. Like, I'm like, yeah, no, we can solve this right now. Go on, check it out. Yes, that's what you do.
You know, what's the square footage?
Out here scamming people.
She went math on him. I was like, yo, that's my wife. That's my baby right there. That's mine. I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. And it's a shame because here's the thing, right? You know, at our neighbors, like when we get somebody that's good, you know, we'll recommend them to our other neighbors because they, you know, looking to do work or whatever. So he lost out on at least 2 jobs trying to scam. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. So I had some good, I had some bad. I had some barbecue. I did. And I've been going to the gym, right? So I'm like, man. But, you know, Levita made these little sliders and some hot sausages and some jerk chicken. And there was some shrimp. She had all this stuff. She had a whole, so, you know, I had to partake, Kawesa.
Oh, no, I'm not mad at you at all.
You know,
if I had a spread,
had to partake.
I had a spread. I'd have been eating too.
You know, man, oh man, oh man. But I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Racists come marching through Philadelphia. I mean, what do you think, man? I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065. Philadelphians was like, nah, y'all, they chased them out of here. Chased them out of here. Chased them back to their rental trucks. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number. Margaret from South Philly's online too. Good morning.
Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
May you have many, many more anniversaries. And I know that wedding's coming up the 20th. You know what I mean? My niece Josie and Lee Gayport, their anniversary was yesterday too. And I danced. I had a good time with WURD.
No.
Solomon, I know y'all had a beautiful time together. And I said to myself, you deserve it. That and
Thank
more.
you.
And the way you showed your children is the way we should show our children to learn and teach them. You're doing right. And God is showing you the way to go. And when we was at the store with the hoagies, remember we had the hoagie contest? And you met me and a little lady, Miss Maria. You know they tried to jerk off for her roof. She said she tried to get the contractors to come there, 4 or 5 of them, and they tried to take her for $1,400. But I called WURD family will help her get a good person to come there to her house. But I don't know what's going on with these flowers. And like I told Quaser, they was crazy day before yesterday. I let them go on and let them nuts down there be crazy when Biden come on that stage. But like I told my girlfriend when she called me from Idaho, I said, look, we Indians got this going on, and that guy sang on that stage. He was an Indian. That was my people. But Solomon, congratulations. You keep it together, and you tell Peter we want to know about them strengths. And
I know that's right.
Right,
I know that's right.
Thank
you so much. I appreciate your call this morning on WURD Radio. And our wedding anniversary, our 21st wedding anniversary is July 9th. So that's this week. So we'll celebrate that. And, man, 21 years. That's crazy. The time just goes by. Rebecca from Springfield is on line 1. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Long time no talk to you. But anyway,
yes, good to hear from you.
I was appalled at the fact that these guys marched into our city. But you know what I couldn't get over? You so bold. How come you covered your whole face? Covered the whole face. Didn't want nobody to know who you were. I just figured if you're so bold, you should really, you know, come out here and take the mask off. The whole face. I couldn't get over that. But I'm just praying for us, the city, and for you, Solomon. Thank you for all that you're doing. God bless you.
Welcome.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number. Of course, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk with Dr. Elena McDonald, Dr. Delana Wardlaw about what's going on with COVID, the vaccines, and more. And so they are coming up on the other side. But right now, we can take your comments on Facebook. You can weigh in at onWURD at FORWURD. That is FORWURD. That is where you can weigh in and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. Kuwaisa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So we do have quite a few comments here, just grabbing them. So good morning to Deborah Dorn Carter, Diana Hillsman, and then also we have here Winona Hayes Poole checking us out this morning. Thanks so much for for looking at us. Will Mega says, I think he's referring to Felicia Rashad, says she is the one who chose that road, and then has the shrug emoji. And then we just actually talked to Miss Rebecca, but she says good morning as well. Kathleen West saying good morning, Solomon and Quason. Everyone have a blessed and safe day. Ms. Gail is saying, no, I firmly disagree, and she is not walking it back. She has done what they have asked her to do. We are muting our own voices and taking away our own constitutional rights. This is ridiculous. So that is her comment there. Ayatunde Garrett is saying, good morning, Word family. Also, good morning to Casa, who's checking us out from Templetown North. And then we have Shalata C.A. Sankofa. Good morning to you as well. Thanks so much for checking us out. Manira Higgs, her comment here is saying, you are absolutely right. They need to be having the conversation with each other if they really care and want to help resolve the issue. We can't solve their problem. And then Phyllis Williams is saying good morning as well, says, Solomon, happy the day you first met. Yes, love is amazing and life is amazing. God bless you both. So that is her comment. Ozias Johnson is saying here, I think in reference to what Miss Gail was saying, says, Mr. Cosby is a so-called free man now that his conviction was walked back or overturned, right? Mr. Rashad did nothing wrong, in my opinion, in support of her friend, her boss, her co-worker. So that's his comment. Phyllis Williams, good morning to you. Ravetta Everett Gilmore, good morning to you as well. And Stephanie Purnell is saying, good morning, Quason, Solomon, and Word family. Peace and blessings to you all. Hey, Solomon, my husband and I celebrated the anniversary of our first meeting on July 5th. We met in 1996 and have been together since. Congratulations to the both of you as well. Shirley J. Carter, thanks for checking us out. Also, Craig Williams and Melissa Brunson. Melissa says, these contractors are a trip. They are. That's insane. And then also checking out our folks over on YouTube. Lola Khan, good morning to you. She says the nerve of that white supremacist group marching through Philly. That's really insane. And Kenyatta Cooper says, good morning, Minister Jones. And Joanne Kemp says, some people nowadays have no respect for their own property, let alone yours. So that is her comment. But yep, those are the comments. Yes, she is preaching because they don't. I've been looking at people really like, y'all don't cut your grass. There's weeds growing out of here. Birds nesting in nah. Got a whole bird's nest like in I'm talking too much to my neighbor, but I'm just saying.
Like, hey, she's talking about us.
Right, like come on. Why you got a bird's nest like kind of inside of the No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah. Why are you sitting there and it's trash at your feet? You sitting on the steps.
Right.
You don't got no broom?
Like throw it away, do something.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. So we're going to go to break. On the other side, we are going to talk with Dr. Delana Warlaw, Dr. Elena McDonald, about what's going on with COVID, the vaccines, and more. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Enterprise Exterminators, located at 4943 Wayne Avenue, has been in business since 1976 and can eliminate whatever pest problems you have. Enterprise specializes in bed bugs, lanternflies, and termites. Call for your free termite inspection today. Do-it-yourself kits are available. Enterprise Exterminators, servicing Philadelphia, Delaware, and New Jersey. Call now, 215-849-7070. Ask us about the Word and senior discounts. The Mattress Man is a second-generation family-owned mattress specialist business since 1988. Open 7 days a week, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. The Mattress Man discounts Serta, memory foam, orthopedic, and ComfortTech mattresses every day. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure you get the best price and best service. The Mattress Man offers same-day delivery on most models to most areas. Ask about the Word discount. Call 215-424-5550.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Well, we're definitely seeing the pace pick up a little extra as we get into the thick of our morning commute here. The Vine Street Expressway westbound being an example of that. The 8th Street ramp through the Schuylkill, very heavy through that stretch. Interestingly enough, we're really not doing all that bad on the eastbound side of the Vine. Turning our attention from here to the Schuylkill, eastbound's a little heavy, the boulevard through Girard. And then on the westbound side, you're jammed solid well in advance of that construction down in South Philly, brought on through Passyunk. Further west, you hit the brakes again. University through South. Continuing delays after that, Conshohocken Curve through Conshohocken. And then back to jammed solid conditions well in advance of that construction zone near 202, where we have the left lane taken out for sinkhole repair. And that's the latest look at your traffic. For more traffic information, be sure to check out sigalert.com. I'm Eric Herr with your Philadelphia traffic update.
Now, a word weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Sunny skies, warm and humid this morning. Hot, humid, and a chance of storms later this afternoon. Under bright sunny skies, we'll warm to near 90 at lunchtime and a high of 95, which will feel like it is at times more than 100 degrees. Cooling into the 70s tonight, a chance of storms later again tomorrow. 97 the high. It will again feel like more than 100 with the high humidity. On Thursday, not as hot, 90 the high after a morning low of 76, with a good chance of showers and thunderstorms later in the day. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
You're waking up
with WURD.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. And joining us now, Dr. Elena McDonald, Dr. Delana Woodlaw. They are board-certified physicians, and they are twins. Doctors, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good. How was your holiday?
It was great.
That was good.
It was nice and relaxing.
Good. Glad to hear it. So, Dr. Woodlaw, I'm going to start with you this morning. We keep hearing about this Delta variant, right? And it is becoming a concern. The St. Louis County and City Public Health Departments issued a warning about the spread of this Delta variant and advised a return to masks indoors even if you're vaccinated. The LA County Department of Public Health strongly recommends everyone wear a mask indoors after an increase in cases. The CDC has not changed its guidance. And so I'll ask you both, starting with you, Dr. Woodlaw, should fully vaccinated people wear masks indoors?
Now, the studies show that the mask is beneficial, the mask is protective. But however, for people who are vaccinated. But however, we know that there's still a small amount of people that can still contract COVID after having the virus. After having both vaccines being fully vaccinated, and they potentially have the ability to pass that on to unvaccinated people, to pass that on to children who aren't vaccinated, or to pass that on to other people who just haven't gotten the vaccine for whatever reason. So at this point, and the CDC usually does not follow local trends. They tend to follow national trends. So since the cases are down around most of the country, and there are spikes in some areas, they tend to stick with their national trends. However, Solomon, I personally recommend that if you are anywhere where you don't know the vaccination status of other folks, it's safer to err on the side of caution and wear your mask.
Okay. Dr. McDonald?
Yes, the issue about whether you wear the mask when you're vaccinated or not, the question keeps coming up because we're still seeing these variants. And to date, the vaccine is still effective against the variant, but the variant continues to spread more significantly and rapidly through people who have not been vaccinated. So as they start to see some of the trends tick upward, some of the health departments are trying to make the best decision to try to protect as many people as possible. But in general, if you are vaccinated, you are still much less likely to contract COVID-19, but there's always still that possibility.
Mm-hmm. So to mask or not to mask if you're vaccinated and indoors?
I say, this is Dr. Woodlaw here. If you don't know everybody's vaccination status and you're indoor, you're on the side of caution. Wear your mask.
And I agree with Dr. Wardlaw.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about India because that's where this Delta variant came from. And the Delta variant, of course, well, Dr. McDonald, explain what the Delta variant is so people who don't know will know.
So as we've been talking about the coronavirus for the last year and a half now, we know that viruses have the ability to change. And what they do is they change their structure to live longer, to evade treatment, to evade vaccines. And we've seen several variants. We've seen variants come out of South Africa. We've seen variants come out of Brazil. But this Delta variant that has come out of India, and what that means is that the virus changed its genetic code a little bit so that it's a little different. So it transmits more quickly, and it has been shown to be more deadlier. And now that we have that variant started in India, and it has had a devastating effect in India, and we now know that it's here in the United States. And the concern is that this Delta variant may become the dominant variant if we do not get the majority of our population vaccinated.
Okay. All right. So the Delta variant came out of India. The sights that we saw coming out of India, unbelievable, burning bodies in the streets, people dying in droves from this Delta variant. And now it has traveled kind of around the world, right? Yeah. And so, but in India, and Dr. Wardlaw asked you about this, in India, where this Delta variant came from, doctors were arrested for taking part in a scam where thousands of people were given fake vaccines. They made the people pay for the vaccine, but it was just saline, right? How do we avoid those kinds of scams in America?
Well, one, people just need to be very aware of, where they're getting vaccines from. One, you should never have to pay for a COVID vaccine or a COVID test. So sometimes, people will say, oh, well, if they'll call or say that you're going to get the test, you're going to get the vaccine for free, but we're also going to offer you additional testing, but you'll have to pay for that. No, that is not true. You never have to pay any fees. Number two, just be aware that if people are calling and phishing, whether it's emails, whether it's text messages, whether it's phone calls, and they are soliciting you for your information over the telephone so that you can come or go if you go somewhere and live and live in person, and they are asking you for your Social Security number, asking you for credit card information, asking you for banking information, that is a red herring, that is a scam. Also, people need to be aware that the CDC distributes all these vaccines. The Philadelphia Department of Health in Philadelphia distributes all the vaccines. So you can very easily check their website and see that somebody is a certified vaccine provider, or you can call 311 to see if they're a certified vaccine provider. So it is very unfortunate that these things occurred. Again, scams, people take advantage of situations all the time, Solomon, but we just have to be aware. We have to be diligent and just keep our eyes and ears open.
Mm-hmm. Dr. McDonald?
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with what Dr. Wardlaw said, but one other point I just want to clarify. If you're getting the COVID PCR test, that test is free. Some places will offer a rapid antigen test, and sometimes they will charge for that, but you always have the option to get a free COVID-19 test.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. And so I want to ask you, Dr. McDonald, as a pediatrician, because I just saw a piece in the New York Times yesterday, and 3 doctors wrote that COVID is a greater risk to kids than the vaccine. Are they right?
Absolutely, Solomon. We know that COVID-19 has devastated this country, and out of the 33 million cases that we have identified in this country, over 4 million of those cases have been in children. So we do know that children can absolutely get COVID-19. And while they do not have severe consequences from it, we have had over 400 children that have died from COVID-19. So yes, the risk of getting COVID and having death from COVID is much higher than any side effects from the vaccine. So when we look at the numbers from the vaccine, we have had over 300 million people have gotten the vaccine right now. We have very, very few instances of severe side effects. So when we look at those numbers, even in the children, when we look at those numbers, the benefit of the vaccine clearly outweighs the risk of the disease. So when the benefit must outweigh the risk. If the benefit does not outweigh the risk, we should not be offering it to you. And the vaccine has shown to be highly effective in adults
and nothing has shown us to date that the vaccine is not going to be highly effective in children.
Dr. Wardlaw, in your adult patients, are there any who you know of who got the virus from kids?
Yes, I do know quite a few people, quite a few of my patients who have. There has been some transmission through their homes, through teens bringing home the virus, and so yes, it's pretty common. It's pretty common.
You know, the interesting thing as a parent, you know, one of the things that I've noticed over the years is that, you know, my kids get stuff and they get over it real quick, but they might give it to me or my wife, especially my wife, like she'll get something from them and get really sick. Is there a difference in the way that COVID affects children, Dr. McDonald, as compared to how it affects adults?
Yes, based on all the data we have seen thus far, we know that children they get less severe symptoms and consequences from COVID-19. The majority of the deaths and the hospitalizations from COVID-19 has been in adults. So children seem to handle COVID-19 much better than adults. However, there has still been that small set of children who have had severe consequences. We've had that small set of children who have actually died. So yes, we do know that children carry less of a burden if they actually get COVID-19. But we do know that they can spread it to other people. We do know that there's still a possibility that they can get very sick and possibly die from it also.
Dr. Wardlaw, you want to say anything else, weigh in before we close out?
No, just encourage people to realize that, yes, we have made great strides, and I appreciate everybody for taking in all the accurate information and making informed decisions for those of us who have gotten the vaccine. However, we need to make sure that people are still aware that the Delta variant is here. It's most effective if everybody gets their second dose of the vaccine. The Delta variant is making up about 26% of the cases now. Last week it was at 12%. So, again, we see it doubling. It's still here. We're not out of the woods yet. So keep up the great work.
All right. All right. Dr. McDonald, where can we find the two of you?
You can find us at Twin Sister Docs on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also check out our website at thetwinsisterdocs.com.
All right. I want to thank you both for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you, Solomon.
Thank you,
Stay
Solomon.
safe.
All right, you too. So we got about 2 minutes. If you want to weigh in, you can certainly do that at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number where you can let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about this morning. You can also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD, at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. And let us know your thoughts on what we're talking about this morning. One of the things we talked about today was a shooting that took place in West Philadelphia. Number of shootings took place in Philadelphia around the country this weekend. But you know, 2 young men died, 1 young woman injured in that shooting in West Philadelphia. One of them was a store owner. He's 23 years old. And the other young man was a cousin of Senator Sharif Street's wife. And so we certainly extend our condolences to everyone who has been lost to gun violence over this holiday weekend and throughout this year. And we extend our condolences to Senator Street's family as well. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue to take your calls right here on WURD.
Looking for an exciting and well-paying new career opportunity? MCAP is a free manufacturing career accelerator program. In just 7 weeks, learn new career skills, earn industry certifications, and connect to manufacturing companies who are hiring. To see if MCAP is right for you, call 215-770-7101. That's 215-770-7101. MCAP is brought to you by Drexel University's Goodwin College of Professional Studies in partnership with EDSI Incorporated. MCAP is an equal opportunity program. Diverse candidates, including women and people of color, are strongly encouraged to apply.
Are you looking for a job? WURD has got you covered. We just launched a brand new job portal featuring jobs from some of Philadelphia's leading companies and arts organizations. If you go to the portal right now, you will see jobs from WURD Radio, the Kimmel Center, Her Foods, Always Best Care, and more. Apply for a job today. Go to our livelihood website at wordworks.com. That's WURDworks.com and click jobs.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Look out for extra jammed up traffic in both directions cross town on the Vine Street Expressway. With that said, we move over to the Schuylkill Expressway, tied up off and on the Conshohocken Curve through Gladwin. Stop and go after that, Montgomery in through Spring Garden, and again between Passyunk and Broadway, you have that ongoing left lane construction. On the westbound side, particularly jammed through this construction brought on through Passyunk, and then further west, you basically are really jammed up right around the boulevard through Gladwin. It's here that we find an accident off to the side, drawing plenty of attention. Further west, you hit the brakes once again for that left lane sinkhole repair project that's going on. And for more traffic information, be sure to go to sigalert.com. I'm Eric Herr with your Philadelphia area traffic update.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Crystal Cly.
Good morning and a happy Monday. The forecast high temperature is 88 degrees today, so we're talking more heat, a little more heat.
Back by popular demand.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I'm going to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. We are, of course, taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. We're talking about a number of things this morning. I know there's been a lot of talk around the Sha'Carri Richardson suspension. You know, I feel bad for her. But, you know, she said herself, like, I knew the rules and I did what I did. And, you know, it's unfortunate. And I don't think that, you know, I'm not a proponent of marijuana, but I don't think marijuana should be one of the banned drugs if it's not a performance-enhancing drug. And if it does enhance your performance in certain events, then it should be banned for those events and not across the board. But, you know, that's an international thing. That's not even about you know, American drug policy. That's an international rule. And, you know, I'm heartbroken that she can't run in her signature events, the 100 meters and the 200 meter. But she'll tell you herself, like, I knew the rules and I did it. And, you know, I'll take the consequence. And so we look forward to seeing her in the 4x100. Right, in the Olympics. But I want to know what you guys think about that, because I know there's some disagreement around that, and I want to know what you guys think. Let's talk about it. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. The other thing, of course, is happening in the Olympics. The body that deals with what you can and cannot do in the swimming competitions, it's called FINA, has banned these natural hair coverings for black women. And it's like, hold up, y'all coming at the sisters? I mean, Kuwaisa, when you told me about this on Friday, and you know, it's still a thing. And now they're kind of walking back their comments a little bit and trying to figure out how to get through this because Black Twitter has gone off. What do you think about that whole thing?
Yeah, I think it's appalling. I mean, as someone, now I know how to swim, and as someone who has a lot of hair, right? Mm-hmm. Growing up, I never could find a swimming cap that would fit all of my head because of all the hair I have. Do you know how many swimming caps I broke? They just like snapped because I'm trying to like squeeze all my hair in there. And so, the fact of the matter is that, our hair we shouldn't have to press our hair or perm it or whatever in order to be able to swim. And for them to make comments saying, oh, well, that's not the natural shape of the head and all that kind of stuff. Like, what? Yeah. Excuse me? No, this is the shape of my head is gonna, determine if my hair is grown a certain way, I gotta be able to, shove my hair up in this cap. I can't even find like shower caps that fit all of my hair. So the fact that you have, Black women or even just, other Black swimmers in general who just have a lot of hair and, they're not able to contain it the way that they want to with the swimming cap, to me, that's already, an injustice right there. But for the committee to sit there and make those types of remarks like, oh, it's not the natural shape of the head. Like, your natural is not the same as my natural.
Come on now.
So I'm appalled by it. I really, really am. And I do hope that they are able to, use the soul cap because I feel that everyone should have a right to be able to protect their hair and not have to do a whole bunch of extra stuff to get their hair up into a regular swim cap that was designed for white women or white hair, I guess I should say. So that's how I feel.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you got that, and then you got Bill Cosby speaking up for Felicia Rashad. I really think Bill Cosby need to be quiet. I do, because he's not helping. I understand he's trying to, but I think at this point he really needs to. I think both of them have to kind of focus on themselves. She need to get her thing straight with Howard, and he need to get his thing straight with the Black community. So I just think you're not helping. I want to know what you think. Bill Cosby, of course, called on Howard University to support his former co-star Felicia Rashad's freedom of speech after she expressed support for him when his sexual assault conviction was overturned. Also talking about what's going on with the violence, man. Nationally, 150 people fatally shot in more than 400 shootings across the country over the 4th of July weekend. 20 shot in Philadelphia alone. All of them are heartbreaking. And, of course, the shooting that we've heard the most about happened in West Philadelphia. 23-year-old store owner, advertises a July 4th cookout on social media, and people come and shoot it up. He dies. Another young man dies who happens to be the cousin of Senator Sharif Street's wife. They're going to hold a press conference on that this morning. We invited Senator Street on the show, but I understand if he can't make it this morning, just, as his family grieves. But, it's a mess, man. And the thing that I will, let our audience know is that one of the things that we have learned as we have gone through listening to the streets, we just finished another cohort, another group last week of young men as we bring them in and pay them a stipend and talk to them and mostly listen to them about what's going on with gun violence. One of the overriding themes is social media, right? They track each other on social media. And so if somebody has an enemy, right, young people call them ops, right? If somebody has an enemy who wishes to do them harm through gun violence, they track the movements of their enemies on social media. And so, if this young man advertised this event on Instagram and somebody else went on social media and said, I'm going to this barbecue, well, then his enemies might have tracked him there on social media. Like, a lot of this stuff happens through social media. There is tracking that goes on through social media of young people tracking their enemies and finding out where they are and going there to engage in gun violence. And so one of the things we might want to do, you know, as parents, as grandparents, as uncles, as cousins, as friends, as older people in the lives of our young people, is to talk to them about saying where you're about to go on social media. Because that's how a lot of these shootings take place. People are being tracked by their enemies on social media. All right, I just need y'all to know that. You take that information and act accordingly, but that's one of the things that we've learned, that there is a tracking that is going on social media, that there is a whole culture around this gun violence on social media, that literally after the gun violence happens, they talk about what they just did on social media. Like there's a whole host of things that are hooked up to this gun violence that really happens on social media. I need y'all to know that. And I need you to talk to the young people in your lives about social media. Now, one of our young people said to me, and I thought it was so profound, he said, you know, people talk about snitching, but, you know, social media, we tell on ourselves. And that's the truth. And so when you see things like this happen, you know, a lot of times, man, social media is part of it. So I want to hear from you. You give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. Lastly, you've got white supremacists marching through Philadelphia. They got chased, right? A couple of fights broke out. A couple of them got arrested, and rightfully so. Don't be coming here with that nonsense, man. But to me, the bigger issue is this, that if this thing is going to be solved, if racism is going to change, this is white folks' problem. You know, you have to talk to the people in your circle. You have to tell them that what they're doing is wrong. You have to challenge them, and I give credit to those who were part of the group challenging them here in Philadelphia. There was white folks down there fighting. I'm like, nah, y'all ain't coming here with that. You know what I mean? And you know, the reality is that white people have to deal with racism because they're going to have conversations with you that they're not going to have with me. They're going to say things to you that they're not going to say to the rest of us. You know, some things are going to happen in your community that are not going to happen in ours. And so, yeah, white people got to deal with this. I want to know what you think. You give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. Brother Joe from Germantown's on line 1. Go ahead.
Hey, Brother Solomon, Queen Chris, how y'all doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'll praise be to Allah. Hey, Solomon, before you talk about Bill Cosby and Chris LaShaw, let me say this, Solomon. You're right about this social media thing because I remember the Tuesday after Memorial Day with a young brother right up here on Shelton Avenue in East Germantown, right across the street from my house at 10 o'clock that night. The cowardly brother came up right behind him. I use the word brother loosely, came up behind him and shot him in the back of the head and the back. And they said he tracked him down, just like you said, Simon, through social media. That's where it all started, some kind of conflict they was having. 22 years old, brother loses his life, had his whole life ahead of him. He's headed to college in September, man. And he just a troubled young man just loses his life, and people just, you know, ride the L bus was coming by when the K bus make that turn right there on Shelton and Western. They actually witnessed it. People were standing in line at the Jamaican restaurant. They actually saw it, man. Just horrible, man, to see this young man gunned down over some stupid stuff on social media, man. It's just it's crazy, Solomon. It's crazy.
Yep.
But Solomon, real quick on Sha'Carri Richardson and the system. Yeah, again, you know, from what they said on WRD over the weekend, they said that Michael Phelps had tested positive for marijuana. They didn't ban him; they let him run, and he got treatment and stuff like that. And
I think Michael Phelps' thing was actually he didn't test positive. I think they found out that he was smoking weed, but I don't think he tested positive.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. And like Quincy said about the swimmers and stuff, again, this is once again an attack, and I'm glad they're walking it back, because this is once again an attack on black people, that you can't let black people have their day in the sun. You got to come with some nonsense about they can't wear a swim cap that can help protect their hair. And the swim cap is not going to make these sisters swim any faster or any slower. But again, once again, attack on black people. But real quick, Solomon, on Bill Cosby, I disagree, Solomon. I think Bill Cosby should speak up, and I'm going to tell you why, because that's his constitutional right to speak up. It's like a police of Rashad. See, I don't think we have to tiptoe around white folks. Bill Cosby was exonerated. He's a free man. He has the right to go on. And matter of fact, he said he got a wake-up call. He said he's going to use the rest of his life to was like him that was unjustly incarcerated. He said he's going to do that, and he said he's going to go ahead and perform. And I hope and he said a lot of promoters have reached out to him about performing at their clubs, and I'd be one of the first ones to go see Bill Cosby perform because as a free man.
I'm sure you would, and you've been pretty consistent in your defense of Bill Cosby. But do you really think? And this ain't about white folks. This is about Howard University and Felicia Rashad. This is about Bill Cosby saying to Howard University, y'all need to make sure that Felicia Rashad has her First Amendment rights, when Felicia Rashad is really trying to step away from the controversy so she can go into her new job. Do you really think that Bill Cosby speaking up for her right now is helpful? You think it helps her?
Well, I can say this time. I called Howard University up this past Friday, and I talked to one of the administrators, and I was respectful. We had a respectful conversation. All I told this brother that was an administrator, I said, brother, I hope that y'all don't violate that sister's right. I said, because as an American citizen, she has a right to her view. She has a right to speak. She didn't say nothing. She didn't down anybody. And she said, we're going to, the brother told me, Solomon, he said, we're going to take, sir, what you said into consideration. I said, because if you fire her, given the public pressure, that would be an infringement on her individual rights as an American. I said, she has a right to speak and stuff. And he said, take it into consideration. So I'm just hoping, Solomon, that she can go on and be the dean of fine arts up there, and Cosby can continue to speak out for black people. Because you're right, Bill Cosby do owe a debt to black people, because a lot of black people stood by him, and for the ones that didn't, that's their opinion, that's their right as well. So I hope Bill, come back in the black community, and because in other words, Solomon, we don't have an option to throw nobody away. I want to save Bill. I want to save Felicia. We need everybody. We need all hands on deck, because our people are under attack in this country, man. So
all right. I hear you. I just don't think it's helpful. I'm gonna be honest with you. He got every right to say whatever he wants, but sometimes you got to be wise about what you do and what you say and when you say it and who you say it to. But I hear you, Brother Joe, and I respect your opinion. So I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Wes from Mount Airy is on line 2. Go ahead, Wes.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
When it comes to Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad, sometimes you got to read the room.
Yep.
You got to see what's going on. And then for me, it's no excuse. If we're going to talk about being an elder and being experienced, that should come into play.
Yep.
Because we can't sit there and say, listen to our elders, and then when our elders say something problematic, we have to sit there and take it. And you have the right. You have the right to say what you want. People have the right to have backlash. You can't say. Too many times people want to say, I have my freedom of speech, but want freedom of repercussion. And that's an issue. Bill Cosby, if he was done wrong on his court case, it should be thrown out. That's not exonerating for what he did in the past. It was grotesque. His pound cake speech, all that stuff comes into play. When it comes to when it comes to hair, let's think about this, Alvin. Let's expand this to the corporate environment. Black people's hair has always been an issue. I remember when I came back from Mississippi, I had braids. This was the 90s. I knew I couldn't go into the office with braids because, why? That was not acceptable. There was a point in time, black people couldn't go into jobs with braids or dreadlocks. It had to be cut a certain way. When it comes to women, their hair had to be straight. It couldn't be curly. Hot combs are there for a reason. Because we have to sit and assimilate to what people think was acceptable, because beauty is done through the white gaze. So your kinky and nappy 4C hair is not the standard. So it's not surprising when you sit there and you look at when it comes to swimming, and they have issues in terms of a swimming cap. Because, again, a woman's 4C hair is not the exception. The military had the same issue, too. So, it's not just swimming. It shows just how America is when it comes to us in terms of how they want us to look at beauty, how they want us to look at hair, where if a black woman wears braids or something like that, it's looked down upon. But then if a white woman wears braids, she's being edgy, she's being chic. So it's like, so it's like, excuse me. For me, when it comes to this conversation, you can isolate it on swimming, but it's a lot bigger than this. It's how we look at and see ourselves. It's how our little girls or little boys see themselves. A little girl shouldn't have to worry about putting a perm in her hair, or a mother shouldn't have to worry about having this because her little girl has curly hair to put a perm in her hair. Or if a woman is a newscaster, she shouldn't have her boss telling her, your hair is too kinky, so I need you to perm that bad boy out, because it's not the image we want to portray.
Yep. No, I hear you, and I think you're absolutely right. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. You can also weigh in on Facebook at ForWord at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So a few more comments here. Phyllis Williams says, yes, caller, closed mouth cannot be heard. They continue to try to silence us. So that's her comment there. Ellis Matthews says, in regards to the street shootings, you don't plant a garden among weeds. You can't grow future doctors and lawyers among thugs and wannabes. That's not farming and cultivation. That's a wasted harvest of young people. So that's what he's saying here. And then also, looks like Dr. Wardlaw weighed in saying gun violence is also a health care crisis. Thank you, Solomon, for your commitment, not only to addressing this issue, but also providing solutions. And then we also have Michelle Tillanil checking us out. She's saying, good morning, Solomon, Kawesa, and Word family. Phyllis Williams also says about the shootings and killings in West Philly, seems like it's increasing instead of decreasing. Why do we continue to kill others and by do that, we kill ourselves? So that is her comment here. And then we have Patricia White saying, good morning. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but saying good morning. Check out what happened in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. It's unreal. So that's in regards to just this, a white man basically, got in a black man's face. It was, I guess, in regards to a homeowners association or something like that. But, calling them all types of names out the book, and then got real indignant and just ridiculous. And then at the end of it all, told people to come see about him and gave out his address. And so black folks and white folks came and saw about him, and he was arrested. And so there wasn't proof before, but this time it was caught on video because he was doing this before allegedly. And so now the police have that proof, and so he's facing some charges here. Deborah Dawn Carter, society always has a way of finding fault with people of color. It's this, that, or the other. When are we going to get a break? And Sherry Garrett DeBress says, I want the reporter that traumatized Sha'Carri to publicly apologize. And the Munira Higgs is talking about what happened in Mount Laurel, saying, yes, racism at its best. They showed up at his door. So those are just some of the comments that we have on our Facebook page. And keep them coming. And I know that we have to go to break, but yep, keep them coming.
All right, so we got our next guest coming up on the other side of this break. Thomas Farrington, president and founder of the Prostate Health Education Network, is going to talk with us on the other side. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
This Word Wellness Vignette is brought to you by AARP. Word Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. Have you ever heard someone say, you're way too serious, and you thought, they couldn't be talking about me? Well, let's face it, sometimes the hardships of life get our faces and our moods all tied in a bunch. Sometimes we forget to smile and enjoy life's simple things. Lightening your life with laughter can look like this. Number 1, watch a funny movie by yourself or with family. Number 2, revisit your favorite comedian's stand-up special. Number 3, doodle, draw, or play a card game with the children in your life. See the world through their eyes. We sometimes think in order to laugh, we have to do specific things. Yet, we can choose to find joy all around us every day. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with Word. Happy living.
Stay well with Word. Connect with us at wordradio.com. This Word Wellness Vignette was brought to you by AARP Pennsylvania.
Are you hungry today? Have your taste buds been sufficiently pampered? Call Eatable Delight for succulent and juicy turkey wings, no-filler crab cakes, or tender smoky beef ribs. You can pick up, curbside, or get delivery in Philadelphia, Montgomery, South Jersey, Delaware, and Bucks County. Call 215-236-3900 or stop by 1540 Wadsworth Avenue. That's 215-236-3900 because even your taste buds deserve pampering.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Look for heavy volume in varying degrees across town on the Vine Street Expressway. Pretty much the length here in both directions, east and westbound. Clogged solid, and on the Schuylkill Expressway, several pockets of volume to get through eastbound Gulf Mills through the Blue Route, the Conshohocken Curve through Belmont and Montgomery through Spring Garden. Westbound side, jammed solid in the construction, broad on through Passyunk, and you hit the brakes shortly thereafter, University through South. And then further west, you're jammed solid the Boulevard out through Gladwin. It was here that we had an accident. It's gone, but nonetheless, obviously, the damage has been done. And then, of course, you hit the brakes heading into 202 for that ongoing left lane sinkhole repair project. Northbound 95, meanwhile, a mess right around the Vine Street Expressway through Girard from an earlier accident there, now having been cleared. For more traffic information, by the way, check out sigalert.com. I'm Eric Herr with your Philadelphia area traffic update.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Sunshine this morning, a chance of storms later this afternoon and this evening, and steamy all day. 95 the high will feel like it is at times more than 100 degrees thanks to the high humidity. Another steamy day tomorrow. 97 the high will feel like more than 100 with a chance of late day showers and thunderstorms. 90 and still steamy on Thursday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms later in the day. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Back by popular demand.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. Joining us now is Thomas Farrington. He's the president and founder of the Prostate Health Education Network. Mr. Farrington, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Jones. Thank you for having me.
Yep, absolutely. So what is going on with prostate cancer and Black America?
Well, prostate cancer is the leading cause of cancer among Black men, and the second leading cause of cancer death. Black men are diagnosed at a rate higher, more than 7% higher than the white men and all other men, and we die at a rate more than twice that of all other men. And this is the leading racial disparity for any type of major cancer, Mr. Jones. So prostate cancer in Black America is a crisis.
Mm-hmm. And so how did you start your organization, the Prostate Health Education Network? How and why?
Well, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in the year 2000. And when I was diagnosed with the disease, I had lost my father 3 months before to prostate cancer. But I really didn't know anything about the disease, unfortunately. Like most men, at the age that I was, I had done the PSA test, but I hadn't really followed it very closely, and I just wasn't aware of my level of risk.
So once I was diagnosed and began to look at my treatment options and do research and finally determine the option, I went into treatment. I had a radiation treatment. And during that time, I began to study prostate cancer. I understand the factors, the risk levels for myself, families with the disease. And after completing treatment, I wrote a book, Battling the Killer Within, and I released that book 1 year after I completed my treatment. And following that, I began to speak about the disease in Boston, where I am located, and around the country. And 2 years later, 2003, I founded FIN, to kind of institutionalize that outreach. So that's my history with facing prostate cancer and founding FIN.
Mm-hmm. And so, what do you hope to do through FIN?
Well, what we have done, we have raised the awareness of prostate cancer within Black communities around the country. We have also educated, in addition to raising awareness, we have developed educational tools. So we have educated men about early detection, when they should become aware and begin early detection. We have educated men about their treatment options. And there are many different treatment options with prostate cancer. It's not one size fits all. We have educated men about the benefits of clinical trial. So since 2003, when we were founded, 17 years ago, we have really expanded our work around the country and doing these things that I've just outlined.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so how do we get in touch with your organization if we want more information about what you do and about prostate cancer and the treatment options that are available?
Well, you can go to our website, prostatehealthed.org. That's prostatehealthed.org. And from that portal, you can find information about our early detection information about treatments and clinical trials. And I really invite people to do so. We have been very active in the Philadelphia area for a number of years, and we work with Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church there with some of their programs. We just had a program with the Masons, with Grandmaster Donald Jones, and throughout Pennsylvania. So we're active, as I said, in cities all across the country. FIN is a leading patient education and advocacy organization for prostate cancer, focusing on Black men in the country. So please reach out, and we have information that can be helpful to men and their families.
All right. And give us that website, if you would.
prostatehealthed.org. Prostate, prostatehealthed.org.
Got it. All right. Well, Ms. Farrington, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for highlighting prostate cancer.
Absolutely. That is Thomas Farrington. He's president and founder of FIN. It's the Prostate Health Education Network, and you can check out their website for more information. It's prostatehealthed.org, prostatehealthed.org. So thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD. So we're going to take your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about this morning, from Bill Cosby weighing in on Felicia Rashad and saying to Howard University, let her have her free speech, to Sha'Carri Richardson, of course. She's been bounced from her two events in the Olympics with a 30-day suspension for smoking marijuana. It's not a performance-enhancing drug, but, she's been bounced anyway. And the International Swimming Federation banning the use of swimming caps designed for natural black hair. Seem like they're coming for the sisters. Of course, the violence around the country and the city during the course of the July 4th holiday, just heartbreaking. And finally, 200 members of the white supremacist group, the Patriot Front, marched around Philadelphia City Hall on Independence Day. And I'm asking myself, how do people have time for this nonsense? But after my confusion settled into anger, I realized that people will find time for whatever gives them purpose. And right now, white Americans must find purpose in fighting racism. Now, I'm glad that among those who chased these fools out of here, there were some white folks as well. But, really, if racism is going to be solved, and to me, racism is a matter of justice. Racism is a matter of culture. Racism is a matter of facing our history in this country, and really being honest with ourselves about it. If we are going to deal with the issue of racism, then white folk got to speak up. Bottom line, because you're in the places where this stuff is fomented. You're in the places where these things are talked about. You're in the places where this stuff grows, right? And if you're against it, you got to say something. I know it's uncomfortable. It got to be. You know what I mean? Uncle so-and-so, he done been in your life, your whole life, but he's a racist. And it might be uncomfortable to say something. But you have to, if we are going to defeat this thing, guess what? We're going to fight it because we're affected by it. But y'all got to fight it too. So I want to know what you think. You give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. What did you think when you heard that racists came to Philly on July 4th talking about they're going to march around City Hall? I want to know what you thought. You give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's the number that you can call to get in. You can also weigh in on Facebook at FORWURD, at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. And let us know your thoughts on what we're talking about this morning. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So a few more comments that we have here this morning. Diane Hamilton Mitchell says, this is Morning Word family. How is Sticks the cat doing? Since she says stay safe, and Sugar Lady said hey. So tell her we said hey right back. Yeah. But yeah, she wanted to know how Sticks is doing.
So I'll give the update after you read the rest of it.
Okay. All right. So that was her comment. Then we also have here. All right. So I'm trying to pull this up here. I might have actually already read that one. Okay, so we have Walter Davis saying good morning, Solomon and Kawesa and my Word family. So thank you so much, and shout out to you for checking us out this morning. He says, Solomon, I truly enjoyed the word you brought forth at your church on Sunday, inspiring us to, quote, let the Spirit move you in the book of Acts. So that's his comment there. D. Jones says, good morning, Word family. I will put some money on it that the man in New Jersey was part of the crowd that stormed the Capitol. How about that? And then also we have here Phyllis saying, yes, wear Sticks. You have a blessed day. Be safe and stay cool. No, folks are invested. We got to know what's happening.
I know.
A couple more comments here. Linda Shields says, good morning, Word family. Solomon and Kawesa had a nice weekend being around family and friends, speaking on state of the black man and spreading the need to vote and getting Stacey Abrams registered to vote and fight. Don't let the ancestors down. And then also Candace Bradley says, yeah, don't start nothing, won't be nothing, to those coming all the way from Texas to Philadelphia. So I hear that. So those are a couple of our comments that we have on Facebook.
All right. So y'all want to update on Sticks. So for those who don't know, we have a cat. The cat is named Sticks, right? And so she is like the rest of us, black, you know what I mean, fists in the air. But she had a wound on the side of her, rib cage, and we don't know if it's from her, because she's done this before, licked herself in a certain spot until, it was bleeding or whatever, right? Or if she was wounded outside, we don't know, because we let her out in the backyard occasionally. She'll go around the front, go. So we don't know how the wound got there, but she was wounded, and so in order for her not to lick that wound, we had to put a cone on her head. And of course, Sticks took it upon herself to walk on the couch behind me as I'm doing the show. You know what I mean? Like, look what they did to me, you know. And so she is fine. Her wound is healing. Levita took her to the vet, and the vet cleaned the wound, gave her some medication that she could take both internally and externally. So she gave her some medication for it. The wound is healing. She's doing fine, and you know, walking around, not limping, because for a while she was limping. I'm like, what happened to you? You know what I mean? But she's fine, and you know, we are looking forward to complete healing for her. So that's what's going on with Sticks.
I'm sorry, it's just so adorable. I mean, that's what happens though. See, you know, pets, they're part of the family. You know, you got to get them checked out, just like, you know, you would go get checked out. So, but it's so sweet that everybody's like really, you know, invested.
I know. Y'all can send a cash app to help with them veterinary costs. Yo, it was expensive. I'm like, yo, how much?
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, cats don't usually have to always go to the vet. So when they do, it's like, oh, it hurts. It does hurt.
Yep. And we had to go to a new place because our old veterinarian, you know, he's a senior citizen now. He's getting kind of sickly. So he had to kind of retire. So so we had to go to a new veterinarian. They socked it to us, boy. They was like, all right, you want to take care of this cat? But top-notch treatment. So I'm not mad. Top-notch treatment, and she's fine. She's actually, you can see her getting better, so I appreciate her. She'll probably be walking on the couch in a few minutes. So I want to know what you think. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. Of course, at 9 o'clock, we're going to be talking with Roxanne Jones. Looking forward to that. And on the other side of this break, we're going to be talking with you. So you can give us a call. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about this morning. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
Whatever the world brings, we're always moving forward. Reinventing business, reimagining home, and re-emphasizing community. At PICO, we're redefining support, finding new ways to provide financial assistance, supporting opportunities for good jobs, and uplifting our communities. We're by your side through it all, because whatever the future holds, you're ready to take it on, and we're ready to power it. Find the support you need at pico.com.
Are you an educator looking for a life-changing opportunity? Youth Build Philly Charter School might be the home for you. Apply to Youth Build to join a family of educators dedicated to learning and growing with young people. Check out current opportunities at youthbuildphilly.org or follow them on social media at YouthBuildPHL. Join Youth Build today. Youth Build is now accepting applications for the class of 2021.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD. what's trending.
Yo, that's crazy.
On Wake Up with Word.
Vanessa Williams hosted PBS's A Capitol Fourth on Sunday, and Williams and PBS faced criticism for her performance of Lift Every Voice and Sing, which has become known as the Black National Anthem. Conservative Twitter jumped on the national anthem part and declared it divisive, segregation, and racist to have any anthem other than the Star Spangled Banner, which was performed later in the show.
And the groundbreaking HBO series Lovecraft Country will not return for a second season, and fans are not pleased. The project also served as an educational experience exposing racism and black history. Lovecraft Country became a fan favorite, garnering 1.5 million views on HBO Max when the season finale aired. This is the second critically acclaimed sci-fi HBO series with black leads, not getting past season 1 in recent years. Watchmen, with Regina King being the first.
And this could be it for Caster Semenya and the Olympics. Forced out of her favorite race by World Athletics testosterone rules, the two-time Olympic champion in the 800 meters took a late shot at qualifying for Tokyo in the 5,000 meters, an event not affected by the hormone regulations. She came up short. The South African's future ambitions depend on a final long-shot legal appeal of the testosterone rules, or transforming from the world's dominant middle-distance runner into a successful long-distance athlete, and that is what's trending.
All right, so that's what's trending right here on WURD Radio. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show, 215-634-8065. So, they mad because Vanessa Williams sang the Black National Anthem?
Yeah. I'm like, why? And then no good and well,
racist.
That's so racist. And the Star Spangled Banner is inherently racist. Yep. I mean, there's like a whole verse, there's a whole stanza talking about, come on.
Yep.
So mad. So mad.
Yeah, that's what they do. So, and this is, and I need y'all to understand this, that this is a strategy, right? That people who are racist will try to point to anything that is specifically black and say, well, why y'all got to have black stuff? Why you got to have something separate? Why you can't have something for everybody? Why you got a black national anthem? Why you got black colleges and universities? Well, we have it as a response to your racism. That's why we have it. It's not because we're racist. It's because we got to have stuff for us, because you tried to close us out of everything in America, and still try to do it. Still try to do it to this day, 2021. So the Black National Anthem is actually a response to racism. You know what I mean? So, lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty, right? Because guess what? There was no liberty for black folks. If you read the lyrics of Lift Every Voice and Sing, it's deep. It is a deep, deep song. There's some parts of that song that are very dark, because it literally traces the history of racism and the slaughter of black people and the violence that was enacted against us. It is a song that is based on the real life experience of black folks in this country. And y'all mad? Y'all mad because we have a song that's a response to what you've done? You got the nerve to try to misinterpret it and call it racism? Come on, man. Give me a break. Give me a break. But that's what they do. You know what I mean? Try to take things and twist them, just like they try to make Black Lives Matter into something negative. How can you say, if somebody says Black Lives Matter, what's negative about that? What's untrue about that? What's false about that? And then got the nerve to respond with Blue Lives Matter like somebody blue. Who's blue? You know anybody blue, Kwesa?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know nobody blue. You got a uniform that's blue. You take that on and off. I can't take this on and off. I scratch it, peel it, you know what I mean? And don't want to. I love it. You know what I mean? I love the skin that I'm in. So, and you mad at that? Mad because I love me, right? I love how I look. I love what God created me to be. You mad about that? You want me to hate me too. Because if I hate me, then it's easier for you to carry out your racism that you set up in every single aspect of our society. It's crazy. Y'all are crazy. And that's why I say, you know, racism is something that white people are going to have to deal with. It's not for us to deal with it. I mean, we'll fight it because it's injustice, because it's wrong, because it's violent, because it is vile. Like, we'll continue to fight it. But the reality is, if racism is going to go away in this country, white people got to fight it. Y'all got to fight because it's your problem. You know, it's your, like, psychosis. Like, it's you. It's not us. So I want to hear from you. You give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. Shaheem from Passaic, New Jersey is on line 1. Go ahead, Shaheem.
How you doing, sir? And,
good.
Thanks for taking my call. I agree with everything you said. Racism in this country is so embedded in the soul of the fabric. Just going back a couple of hundred years, it was a son told the father, "Dad, it's not right that you raped this little girl and murdered this guy and murdered this man." And the father shot him in the head and said, "I'll kill you if you want to take this from me." And that's how the Civil War started. You know, it was father.
I don't understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that families, I mean, it was so deep embedded that they wanted this, you know, slavery so bad that the father would kill the son if the son went against him by owning these slaves.
Okay.
Right, and so we're talking about 400 or 500 years of oppression, and you think they're just going to forget it in 150 years? You know, because they keep reminding you, 12 years a slave, Roots, Mississippi Burn. They remind you every once in a while. They come out with a movie to let you know this is how it was. This is how it was. This is how it was, and this is how it should be. So, you know, I can't watch another movie like that. I get it. You know. So with that, let me let you go. Appreciate
All right, man. I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Brother Gary from Chester is on line 2. Go ahead, Brother Gary.
Simon Jones, thank you for taking my call. Simon Jones, congratulations on your anniversary date. That is so nice.
Thank you, man.
And I'm so glad your wife know her math because thank God would have got me because I don't know nothing about none of that. I mean, but she got that number game down.
She got it.
Now Solomon, whoever got the dog walking around there must have never read none of your books. Because they know you got mystery and detective down, so they better be careful. Because this guy can write. If he write like this, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a hard time finding out who did it. You know?
Yeah, we're going to find you.
Now, Solomon, the hair thing, Solomon. Here's the hair thing, Solomon. When I was young, in my heyday, I had my hair like the Nation of Islam. Like, if you saw me, I look like the brother of Islam. If you saw me, you got C-stick. You got C-stick if you saw me. That's how I flicked my hair was. You know what I mean? I had waves for the babies and kept curls for the girls. But now, Solomon, I got a hole in my natural and I'm bald now, Solomon. So every time I see dreadlocks and weeds, I be clapping, Solomon. I be praying for the day that my hair can grow again.
I know that's right.
Solomon, have a good one.
All right, man. Thank you so much, Brother Gary. We appreciate your call this morning on WURD. If you want to get in, it is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. Let's go to Al from New York on line 3. Go ahead, Al.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay, I'm great. The reason it's only a side up on there, and I am almost 70 years old, and I understand the struggle we're going through, and believe me, I've seen it present as well. But as a side note, there are like over 1 billion cell phones out here. I'm just wondering why we have not seen any more UFOs. I know my wife, we were arguing about this. What happened to all the UFOs?
What happened to all of you? You know what? It's funny because a report just came out about the military and their sightings of UFOs, and a lot of them they couldn't explain. So that actually, a report about that came out like, I don't know, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, I definitely heard that. Yes, I have. But how come the civilians who have main phones haven't seen none of these things and have recorded these things as well? In the past, there was this.
Why do you think it is?
Well, why we were arguing, not really arguing, we were debating at the issue. That's all we're doing.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you think because nobody has been able to photograph them on their cell phones, they don't exist?
Oh, no, not at all. I'm not saying that
Well, what
at
do you
all.
think?
I'm just saying, how come we haven't seen it lately when in the past we've seen lots of bad-looking pictures of UFOs?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We see nothing. And even the military ones that we seen on television, I've seen on television, they weren't that good either. It was like negative. I don't know. It looked kind of funny looking. But look,
like they doctored them.
Oh no, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Neither do. Listen, thank you for taking my phone call.
All right, man. Thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Cliff from Connecticut on line 1. Go ahead, Cliff.
Hey, Brother Solomon, you're right on point, man, in terms of white people dealing with the racism. Man, and I feel particularly white evangelical preachers and white Catholic priests should deal with their congregation and deal with and confront those issues. And speaking on that, bro, how can we see your sermon or your preaching?
Go to Great Commission Online, GreatCommissionChurchOnline.com, or go to Great Commission Church Philly on Facebook, and you see it there. All right. Thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We certainly appreciate it. If you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. So, Kwesi, the UFO thing was kind of out of nowhere a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a tad.
A tad. I'm not, denying that there isn't life beyond here, but just kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Kind of. But you know what? It's true. I mean, the military literally just came out with a report a couple of weeks ago. We didn't talk about it because, but they just came out with a report like a couple of weeks ago. So I'm gonna look that up. And see exactly what they said. But anyway, 215-634-8065, of course, is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about this morning. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about. Of course, we're going to be talking with Roxanne Jones in a couple of minutes. So she's going to be joining us and talking about what's going on with Sha'Carri Richardson and also Kamala Harris. She just wrote a piece about that a couple of days ago, so we're going to talk with her about that as well. And we're, of course, going to talk with you at 215-634-8065 as we examine what happened when racists ran up in Philadelphia and were immediately chased back out. We're going to go to break, and on the other side of this break, we are going to talk with Roxanne Jones. She is a CNN commentator, former editor at The Inquirer, award-winning journalist. She's going to join us on the other side of this break to talk about Kamala Harris, Sha'Carri Richardson, and more that's going on with black women. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD Radio. We will be right back.
At Bank of America, we believe in the power of action. That's why we've expanded our efforts to advance racial equality and economic opportunity with an additional $1.25 billion to drive impact.
I'm Jim Dever, President of Bank of America, Greater Philadelphia. My teammates and I are proud of our ongoing partnership with Urban League of Philadelphia. Together, we're connecting more people to new skills and better jobs. What would you like the power to do?
Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
So many times we say to ourselves, I need to make a difference. Well, your chance is here. Center in the Park is holding a virtual volunteer event Friday, August 6, 2021 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Advocate for those who can't, support those who can, and ensure all long-term care residents live with dignity and respect. Register for this Ombudsman event at info@centerinthepark.org. We all feel better when we do something that matters and when we do something with purpose.
lifting every voice
till earth and heaven ring.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
You're waking up
with WURD,
hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Independent Black Media.
This is a continuation of the mistreatment of black women in the United States. When I think of Black Lives Matter, I'm not just thinking of police brutality. I'm thinking about a whole law enforcement system screaming for reform. You can't tell me he didn't know something, and even if he didn't, he should have.
And now, Roxanne Jones, live on Wake Up with WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD, and joining us now is Roxanne Jones. Roxanne Jones, of course, is a CNN commentator. She is also a former VP at ESPN, Emmy-nominated producer, co-author of Say It Loud, An Illustrated History of the Black Athlete, and CEO of the Push Marketing Group, a media strategy firm. Roxanne, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm in Philadelphia with family, so, you know, it's all love.
Okay. All right. Well, we are glad you're here. I'm going to try to catch up with you today while you're here. I'm going to be running around, but you're here, so I got to see you while you're here. So we're going to try to make that happen.
All right.
Okay. So, man, there's a whole lot going on. I mean, what do you think about the fact that some racists came here and tried to march around Philadelphia?
Okay, listen, Solomon. Now, I just said it's all love. You know, we've been barbecuing and doing everything, you know, we do with the family, and we happened to switch on the TV. I was like, who are these fools?
Yeah.
Where is this?
Lord have mercy.
My husband came running. I said, what is going on now? I know I've been gone for a minute, but this is just too much. So
Yeah.
I was really happy that they got chased out, as they should have. I mean, come on. I was proud that Philly stood up like that and said, no, not here. I mean, we've seen them try that before at the polls and stuff, but no. No.
Yeah.
No. So I saw it, you know, we were watching it. It just seemed so out of place.
Yeah.
Oh, is this a joke? What is this, an old clip? What is this? And everyone came looking at the TV. We were like, oh, no, this is not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope,
they have
not
lost
today.
their minds.
They have lost their minds, so they needed to be chased out. You know, I said, listen, we got Juneteenth. We're not messing around with you anymore. We just stop it.
Exactly. So you wrote a piece in CNN, and I read it with interest. You wrote about Kamala Harris, and you say she's starting to be her authentic self. What do you mean, and how does her being a black woman factor into that?
Okay. Well, I wrote the piece when she went to her firstborn trip, right? So I wrote the piece when she made some comments about immigration. And I like that she has come into just kind of straightforward talking that we saw mostly in the Senate hearings, you know, a few years back when I think she really became a darling in the black community just for her no-nonsense straight talk, grilling Kavanaugh and other people, and really taking you to task, you know, pointing fingers and talking the way maybe your auntie or your mom would talk to you. And that's our style, right? Just direct talk. And then she lost that during the campaign. I felt she was nervous, didn't answer direct questions, wasn't really clear about the issues and what she believed in. And so, but I always felt like it was there with her. She tried to change who she was to be on this national stage, the black woman that she is. She says she's black, she's black. I know she's got a lot of other stuff in her, as we all do, but I'm talking about her blackness. So when I heard her speaking about immigration and she got taken to task by people like AOC and many Republicans because she said, do not come to America, do not come. Now, she wasn't saying that, and you know, I have told people that, don't come. Our country's all messed up. They're going to put your baby in cages. We don't have a proper immigration system. It needs reform. I think a lot of black people feel like it needs reform. And we sometimes are in conflict with the Latino community over immigration issues. We don't talk these out. We just kind of point fingers and say, you're against us. You're not. I don't think it's that easy. You know, we come from different cultures. We communicate differently. And so Kamala really touched me with the way she was just plain speaking. And I was in the column saying that I was happy to see that. I feel like she's falling into her comfort level more with who she is, her straight, direct, no-nonsense way of talking. And I think she needs to stay on that path. And I was relating it to how many black women, myself included, are walking in the world these days, right? We've been through a lot of pain, not just through the pandemic, but these few years, forever in this country, but specifically seeing our babies shot and killed and brutalized by police, then the pandemic, unemployment, all of these things. And I feel like we have found our voice. So we're no longer explaining ourselves, apologizing for this, tiptoeing around white people at work or at home, in any of the spaces we're in. We're grasping our voice and our power. And I think that Kamala is on that journey as well. And what I was saying in the column is just kind of talking about that, not just her journey, but the journey I see many black women on, and applauding that and saying, you know, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes we'll stumble with our words. Sometimes, a lot of times, we'll be misinterpreted. Yeah. But keep going, because we got this. We're very strong. We got this. And as long as we're supporting each other and showing some grace to, whether that's Kamala or myself or other black women who aren't maybe saying it exactly the way everybody thinks we should, but using our voice, speaking our mind, you know, lifting this whole country up with our intellect, with our strength, with our insight, and our experiences. I think that the country needs us to do that, to be that woman, as we always have.
Yeah.
That's what my piece was about.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's interesting because you can tell when somebody's trying to kind of hold back. And that's kind of where Kamala Harris has been. I think she's trying to find a balance because she is on this national stage and she's going to be running for president. And I think she's trying to strike a balance between her authentic self and what she has to say politically. And you can almost kind of see it sometimes, you know, as she's thinking through what she's going to say.
You said exactly. So, you can see, you've interviewed her, so I'm sure you saw it. She might giggle or chuckle. She has like a nervous laugh. She says something really direct and what some people might take as too direct. And then she might, it's not really a giggle, but a chuckle to soften it. And, you know, I've done that myself. I've seen many other black women do that in settings, too, because we know the stereotypes about us, that we're aggressive or bossy or mean, and people are automatically defensive around us. So we try to soften it. But I am hoping that Kamala and the rest of us, we don't need to soften anything, right? Yeah. That doesn't mean we're going around screaming, yelling, cursing people out to get our points across. We don't have to do that either. We just need to genuinely speak in our authentic voices not tiptoe around stuff, especially when we have a point to make and we want to be heard. We don't need to smile and chuckle and try to make everybody love us and accept us, because we know that that's not going to happen. You can't really always do that. All we can do is be our authentic self and step forward. And I hope that Kamala is able to do that, that we allow her to do that, and that that's the way she walks into the White House as president, that she takes that demeanor. Because when she's holding back, as we saw her do during the campaign, we're like, okay, wait a minute, who is she? Is she really going to be there for us? Is she really going to fight for us and the issues that she's talking about? Because you can't do that holding back, right? That's bring everything to the table, because the fight, as we see from those fools who are marching through Philly, just as bold as anything, the fight is real, and it's right in front of us. And this is no time for us to be trying to hide or soften ourselves or explain. We have to step boldly. So I hope she does that. I think that's the only way she really wins. And I think that people of all races will respect that. Enough people will respect that, because, as you said, you can tell when somebody's being real and when they're pausing, because they sound nervous. They sound unsure, unconfident. You can't win like that.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. And so, Roxanne, I'm going to give this to you. We didn't kind of discuss this, but this literally just came in. Nicole Hannah-Jones has rejected the University of North Carolina tenure offer, and she's going to teach at Howard instead. What are your thoughts?
Listen, thank goodness. Let me applaud her right now.
I know, right?
Applaud her. Weren't we all thinking, like, why would you go to this racist university? When you had to beg, steal, and get a whole protest just to get what was duly deserving, your tenure. And they're acting like they did you a big favor. So, again, Black women speaking in our authentic voices, walking boldly. And I love that she has done that, because I didn't know. You know, I'm an NABJ. I'm on board doing all this stuff. And I was like, oh, what's she going to do? What is she? Please don't kowtow to these people. You don't have to do that. You are better than them. You're better than that board of trustees, than that university and systemic racism. They don't deserve you. So fantastic that she's going to Howard. Maybe she can speak to Ms. Rashad. Maybe she can help her out.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, what did you think about? Here's my thing, right? So Felicia Rashad, you know, she said what she said, and I understood it, right? People thought it was insensitive, but I understood. That's your friend. You're going to stand up for your friend, right? So she said it. And now Bill Cosby's coming out and saying Howard needs to let her have her free speech. I feel like Bill Cosby need to like fall back. I do. What do you think?
Bill definitely needs to fall back, enjoy his freedom, make good with his wife, because he's out on the technical difficulty. And, you know, like the first person he hurt, I mean, besides the women he drugged and raped, admittedly, is his wife, right? She's a beautiful Black woman. She's been with that man for a long time. She deserves all the respect and love. So I would be trying to make sure my home was right. And if I was him, and I can't speak for Black men, but I'm just saying, I mean, take care of home. Be quiet. But, you know, I think, as you said, we do defend friends. Now, I have friends from all walks who've done all different kinds of things. I don't judge them, but I also don't defend them either publicly or in front of their face when they have done something, you know, like rape or drug somebody or rob somebody, or, you know, like I don't kick them out as friends, you know, but I'm not in public acting like what they did is acceptable. So, yes, we all have freedom of speech. We all have the right to think what we want, but I do hold back on defending friends or family that have done things that, like Bill Cosby was accused of, right? I don't defend them publicly. Now, what I'm saying in private, I love you, let's walk through this, trying to, you know, help somebody overcome some of the things that they have done with understanding and grace, yes. But I actually don't think that it was helpful that Felicia felt that she had to publicly go as far as she did.
Yeah.
But I also think it's right that, Bill Cosby deserves justice just like anybody else. And if that prosecutor didn't follow the letter of the law, if it was, self-incrimination, because he only was convicted on his own words.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
well, no, I think he was convicted because they came back with 5 other people, too. But the fact that they had that deposition was the foundation of it. But they couldn't even get him the first time on that. They came back. I don't know. They gagged him because they told him that they weren't going to prosecute him, and then they did. And
right.
You can't do that.
It was a different DA. So as I said, I agree with the technique. It's the law. Technicality is the law as well. And so if we want justice, we can't be mad when justice is served, whether it was served because he's rich and famous, whatever. I think if they broke the law, they didn't follow, how you're supposed to prosecute somebody, then he needs to be out of prison. He did serve some time, so let the man out and let him live his life. But I still agree with you. He should fall back and just enjoy the rest of his life.
Yeah, you're not helping Felicia Rashad by talking. You're not.
Right.
You're not.
No,
just
he's not.
Stop.
And I don't know if he's just thirsty for media. I have no idea. But my goodness, go enjoy the rest of your life.
Well, let's talk about Sha'Carri Richardson because she's going to miss her main Olympic events after a positive marijuana test. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that as she said, she's human. I am human.
Yep.
That's what I think. I am human.
Yeah.
She was going through a lot. In Oregon, weed is legalized, so it's not a crime, what she did. But the IOC, which has an extensive racist history, which was founded in principle not on the Greeks and all of that stuff. It was patterned after that. But the founder of the modern-day Olympics was a white supremacist. And he founded the Olympics for white men only. So, and when we're looking at these laws, and, this man he was French. One of his main themes was all allegiances, all races must show allegiance to superior white race. Women were barred, black people were barred. The Olympics was only for white men, and it was kind of a competition between French people and the Nazis. Like, they were trying to prove that the Aryan race wasn't the superior white race. So they were going to do all these sports to show they were stronger and faster, all this other stuff. And so a lot of the rules in the Olympics, although they say you're not supposed to be political, it's all about politics, right? I mean, we see more flags in the Olympics than anywhere. So I also think, even though she's human, she broke the rules of the IOC. She knew what the rules were, even though the rules are not. We're in a strange time with marijuana, right? It's not against the state law. It's not against the law, period. But black people mostly, are being penalized like it still is illegal, still in prison, still, banned from so it doesn't make sense, just common sense. It doesn't make common sense, right? But we do have to remember that the IOC and the Olympic Games, what they were founded for, the modern day, just to uphold white supremacy. So any of the rules, the swim caps that black women can't wear because we have puffy hair, the no political protest in a game that is all about politics. It's all about nationalism, the entire Olympics. So only our politics, certain politics aren't allowed, right? You can't protest police brutality. You can't protest for, equality. Jesse Owens couldn't protest anything, right? So that the only politics that aren't allowed are like black politics, anything that goes against white supremacy. So I feel like some of the rules, her prosecution, and even cannabis being banned in the IOC, I think that they need to relook at that, because I went back and looked at international other countries and how many don't have marijuana legalized. Now, I don't smoke weed, so I'm not, whatever. But it is now legalized. And most countries, unless it's a regime, it's legalized. So it's not like around the world this is a big crime and they're only following U.S. law. They can't do that. It is an international organization. But I think that they should relook at the policy And maybe there are fines, I don't know how they would do it, but just doing it as they are now flies in the face of not just American, how the laws are changing here, but globally. Mm-hmm. And as the NBA and the NFL and other sports have relooked at their cannabis policies, I think that the IOC should do that too. And, you know, again, any rule that they put up, I'm looking at it in the seat of white supremacy, because that's why the games were originally founded. And that wasn't that long ago. That was in 19-something, the early 1900s. Mm-hmm. So those vestiges of who can protest and who's sanctioned and who's not sanctioned, those rules are still there.
So I want to talk about these swim caps, because we only got 2 minutes. So I want to talk about these swim caps. So there's a company out of the UK, out of Britain, who makes these swim caps that are specifically for black hair, and the International Governing Body for Swimming, FINA, has banned those caps. They say they don't fit the natural shape of the head. They faced a lot of criticism over the decision. Do you feel like they're coming for black women with this? We got about 2 minutes.
Absolutely. In lieu of what I just said, the game's being founded on white supremacy. I mean, I have an afro. My hair is puffy. So those swim caps, the tight ones, your hair is caught up. It gives you a headache. It's too tight. So obviously, the natural shape of the head, that speaks to, it's a white supremacy kind of thing to even say. Like, what do you mean the natural shape of the head? We have puffy hair. Even if we have a little afro, we still have puffy hair that is not going to be contained under those swim caps as they are. So I was excited when those swim caps were even, you know, I knew about them. I did a bigger swim. I think Quasa said a shower cap, or somebody said shower caps can't even fit her. That is so true. For a long time before the jumbos, black women were wearing 2-3 shower caps in the shower just to keep our hair dry. So certainly, I think if we're unclear about what I was just talking about, the cannabis and how that's being regulated versus what the law is and who's being targeted, look no further than just a simple swim cap. So now we don't have a naturally shaped head if we're black people.
I know. No.
Right? Let me tell you. And we don't have the right to protect our hair from all of the damage that chlorine and everything else. And not only that, but it puts drag, puts friction on you, so your speed is decreased. So the swim cap is a very important part of Olympic swimming. And so again, as I said, seated in white supremacy, a lot of these rules about protests, swim caps, cannabis policies, and you know what's banned and not banned, really target us. And so we should relook at that and read a little bit of the history if you don't want to take my word for it.
All right, that's Roxanne Jones. That's Roxanne Jones. She's a former VP at ESPN, CNN opinion writer, Emmy-nominated producer, co-author of Say It Loud, an illustrated history of the black athlete, and CEO of the Push Marketing Group, a media strategy firm. Roxanne, as always, thanks so much.
Thank you, Solomon. Hope to see you later.
Yep, see you later. So Richard Hunt is up next. He's the first African-American sculptor to have a major solo exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and he's going to join us on the other side. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Hey, WURD family, did you hear? It's official. The Colorectal Cancer Alliance just announced the new age for colon cancer screenings has been officially lowered to age 45 for everyone. If you are 45 or older, it's time to get screened. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner to register for your free at-home screening test. Did you know colon cancer is largely preventable with on-time screening? And there's a 90% survival rate when caught early. African Americans are 20% more likely to get colon cancer and about 40% more likely to die from it than most other groups. So for the next 3 months, you can go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner for your free at-home screening test. A screening navigator will contact you to ask a few questions and help you get screened. It's that simple. Again, just go to WURDradio.com, click on the Go to Know banner, and fill out the form to request your free at-home screening test. Go to Know today.
Morning, Mama. How you feeling?
Great, and I'm ready for you today.
I'm checking in on you. Morning meditation?
Check.
Dressed and ready to work out?
Check.
Check your blood pressure yet?
And check.
Boom! Great job, Mom. And about those gold earrings.
No, ma'am.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Monitor your blood pressure daily and help each other stay motivated. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. Joining us now is Richard Hunt. He's the first African-American sculptor to have a major solo exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and his work is in numerous museums. He has a new piece, The Light of Truth, Ida B. Wells National Monument. Mr. Hunt, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, I'm fine. Thanks for having me on your program.
Absolutely, man. It is a pleasure. So tell us how you became a sculptor. How'd you decide to do that?
Well, one thing led to another. I mean, that is to say, I was always, as I was growing up, I was starting out with, like, drawing and one thing and another. And then, in school, there was some, in art classes, there was some working in sculpture, making three-dimensional things. And I like that even better than drawing or painting. And so here in Chicago, there was, at the Art Institute, there was what they call a junior school, where because of my developing interest, my parents sent me there on Saturdays and during the summers, and so I started, making sculpture at a kind of young age. And at that time, it was working figuratively, modeling in clay or plaster, making figurative sculpture. Then in college, at the Art Institute, I started doing work in metal, and metal became, my medium of expression.
Hmm. When did you figure out that this was something that you were really good at, that this talent that you had was special?
Well, I mean, it had to do with making sculpture. That and then at a certain point, I started to exhibit it, like at art fairs and things, and then later on in a gallery. And it seemed like it had potential. As a matter of fact, I got a degree from the Art Institute in art education, but with a concentration in sculpture. So, and then after being in the Army and one thing and another, I got out and I started teaching, a year came along where I was working on my income tax, and it turned out I made more money selling sculpture than I did from teaching, so I stopped teaching and became a full-time sculptor.
Now, sculpting has allowed you to kind of travel the world. You had a traveling fellowship from that School of the Art Institute. Tell us about that and where you went and how that kind of changed your perspective in seeing these other places.
Well, for one thing, it was an opportunity. I traveled then, in Europe. I mean, starting out. Well, this goes back to the old days when you went to Europe on a ship, and I'm afraid of water, so I booked myself on the SS United States, which at the time was the fastest ship afloat, and so it was 6 days getting over there. But it's to Britain, and then from Britain across the Channel, and I spent most of the time in Italy, but I France, Spain as well, and of course it was an opportunity to see all the old masters and new avant-garde artists, etc. And then I spent time in Florence where I made sculpture that had cast in bronze, which is something I hadn't done before. And then at that point in time, there was what they call universal military service, and I got a message from my draft board that I was up for, it was my turn to get in the do my duty to my country, and so I ended up going into the Army and working in the medics, and that was a 2-year stint. And then back to Chicago and back to work. I was working all the time, but where I was stationed, but then back into full-time sculpture after that.
And so now you have you've been around, so you were appointed by President Lyndon Johnson as one of the first artists to serve on the National Council of the Arts. What was that like?
Well, it was a great invitation, and it was an opportunity to interact with a lot of other art people. There were people like Marian Anderson and architects and all the arts were covered in terms of the members of the council, and it was in its beginnings, and it was an opportunity to launch a lot of programs that help both professional artists and up and coming artists. Yeah.
And so you are now still sculpting. You're 86?
I'll be 86 in September. Don't
all right. I ain't gonna give you an extra year.
No, I'm 85. I'll be 86 September 12th. Yeah.
Okay. And you're still sculpting.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you've got a piece called "The Light of Truth," Ida B. Wells National Monument. It's on the south side of Chicago. Tell us about that piece and the inspiration for it.
Well, yes. I was approached by a committee that wanted to celebrate her, and I was happy to be approached by that. I mean, Ida B. Wells is somebody that I knew about growing up. I mean, my parents, and my mother, and in particular, was interested in what she stood for and what she was doing in the community. And I had friends that lived in the Ida B. Wells housing project, which was, demolished, and and the park and a rebuilding of that area is created. And then, of course, there was the idea of having a sculpture to go in the park. Well, you know, I was happy to have been approached to do it. And as a matter of fact, you know, it was like 12 years ago when, you know, when I was approached to do it. It took a long time to raise the money and, you know, a variety of things. You know, just a week ago, everything came to fruition, and there we were unveiling it. It has had a very good reception, which I'm happy about.
Well, how'd you decide on the design of this sculpture?
Well, I went back and forth. I did a number of designs, but this you know, what I ended up doing seemed just right for the place. I mean, so the idea was to create a sculpture of some scale, and then within the sculpture, text panels that have images of her and quotations of you know, from her, you know, from her you know, books and speeches. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a just a fabulous sculpture. It looks like a flame on top, and it almost looks like a chain coming out of the bottom part of where that flame is, and then I see the you know, the images of her in those 3 giant columns that you have there. What do you hope people get out of seeing this sculpture?
Well, I mean, they get out of it what they get out of it. I mean, what I've placed there is something that, well, obviously the images and the text panel are there to, you know, to so people, you know, will have an idea of what she looked like and some of her, you know, famous quotations, and then the rest of it is what I would call a sculptural experience. You know, the scale of the piece and where it is within this park landscape and all. It's you know, the thought is that, you know, people will. Well, the hope is that people will enjoy what they're seeing and learn something from what they're able to read about her.
I'm curious. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, you know, years from now, you know, people will be looking at it who, you know, for them, I.B. Wells will be, well, the streets now named after and one thing and another, but you know, the idea of having some of her history in plaques on this sculpture is an idea of extending the knowledge and understanding of what she meant to the community. Will be there.
Having experienced history close up, having served on, you know, a presidential national commission and traveled through your art, I'm curious about your perspective on how things have changed over the course of your lifetime, if at all. What do you think?
You mean how things in the art world, or?
I mean in the world, period.
Well, things have gotten better and worse at the same time. You know. I mean, you know, we're facing climate change and a lot of things that who knows what the answer will be to try to, you know, maintain a environment that we can live and breathe in. Then, you know, but then there are ways to communicate with people all over the world instantaneously, and well, I mean, it's onward and upward and sideward, you know.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD. We certainly appreciate your work and your longevity and the fact that you continue to do this. Just amazing. So thank you so much for all that you've done, and thank you for your work. That's Richard Hunt, the first African-American sculptor to have a major solo exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. And he now has a new sculpture, a new piece, The Light of Truth, Ida B. Wells National Monument. It's on the south side of Chicago. Mr. Hunt, thanks so much.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate
All right.
the opportunity.
Yep, it's a pleasure. So Ida B. Wells, of course, a major journalist who bravely wrote about lynching in the United States at a time when that could cost you your life. And so Ida B. Wells, a major voice in journalism, Black woman who deserves every honor, including this one, sculpture by Mr. Richard Hunt. We have a couple of minutes. So if you want to get in, you can certainly give us a call at 215-634-8065. That's the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. You can, of course, also weigh in on Facebook at forward at FORWURD. That's FORWURD, and that is where you can let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. Especially what's happening in Philadelphia. You had some white supremacists march through Philadelphia on July 4th. Of course, they got chased out of here, as they should have. But it brings to mind how we deal with this issue of racism in our country, how we deal with, changing the mindset of folks, or at least letting them know that, no, you will not do this. Where we live. You will not come to our communities and try to terrorize us. You will not try to down us. You will not promote white supremacy. That's not something you're going to do. And I think that it absolutely takes all of us to do that. And I think, various weapons and means to do that, from the art of someone like Richard Hunt to to activism in the streets, to political power, to many things, man. I just think it takes a lot, but it definitely takes all of us. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break. I am Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Want the latest in Word swag?
Check out the shop tab on WordRadio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WordRadio.com. Show the world that you're all about black.
Talk media. Back by popular demand.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I'm going to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. I want to talk about Nicole Hannah-Jones. She is, of course, the Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist who wrote the 1619 Project, or helmed that project, because there were a number of writers, poets, others who contributed to it, to take a new look at slavery in the United States and what it meant and how it factored into the founding and the history of this country. A lot of conservatives standing up against the 1619 Project, don't want it taught, don't want it talked about, because they don't want that perspective to be heard. And so Nicole Hannah-Jones was offered a professorship at the University of North Carolina, and a major donor for whom their School of Journalism is named stood up against her being appointed as a professor there, and stood up against her getting tenure. And so the board acquiesced to the demands of this major donor, and for a while went back and forth over whether or not they were going to give her tenure. Finally decided to give her tenure, like they were doing her a favor. And Nicole Hannah-Jones said, thanks, but no thanks. I'm teaching at Howard. I want to know what you think. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. I want to talk to you about it. Kawesa, what do you think?
Oh, listen, I'm here for it. Because what I say before, I was like, you know what? She don't even got to work there. Like, there's so many HBCUs that would gladly have her. And guess what? Howard stepped up to the plate. I'm so here for it. A part of that deal, I think Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to be, a faculty member there as well. I'm so proud. I'm proud to be, an alumni of an HBCU, but I'm also proud of her for the simple fact that she didn't give in. She didn't sit there and say like, oh, I gotta, go over here with Massa, and I gotta. No, she didn't do any of that. She went where she was wanted.
Yeah.
And I needed that from her, and that was is beautiful, And so I am so very glad that she accepted the offer from Howard and basically told the other university kick rocks. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let's go to Renee from West Oak Lane on line 1. Go ahead.
Good morning, Solomon, Kawesa, Word family, and everybody. Solomon, I just want to say I wish I would have seen you and your wife, Lavita, at the church Sunday. I wish I would have heard what you said. And Solomon, did you take what you said at the church? If you did, will you
can find it on Facebook. So on Facebook, go to Great Commission Church Philly, and you can find all the sermons from our pastors as well as, what I said on Sunday.
Great. Also, I want to speak about the oppressor against black people, how they, we have to be careful what we say about each other and how we treat each other, just like the comment on Felicia Rashad, they tear her down, because we just make the oppressor stronger when we tear each other down, kill each other. And I think we need to chillax about Felicia Rashad. I mean, he just stepped out of prison. He got enough to deal with than, making remarks about Felicia Rashad. That's just my opinion on that. And also, I wanted to say about, I wish that we as people, as black people, we need to listen to more each other. Like you said about the man up, how you say you listen to guys and how you listen to their experience and you understand their mindset. Like you said, we need to listen more. My grandmother used to say, she said, get a Q-tip because you're going to learn more by listening than talking. She said, clean your ears out because that's how you're going to learn, by listening. We'll learn by listening more. And also, I want to tap into one more thing about the Britney Spears thing. It's really sad. I mean, a lot of people say they're treating her harsh, but her father was following what the doctor suggests that she should do, and put her on lithium, don't drink too much soda, birth control, and that is sad. But come to find out, the father is not the overseer, it's another lady that's overseeing Britney Spears. But I believe they're just trying to save her life. I think they're doing more to save Britney Spears' life than they did to try to save Whitney Houston's life or her daughter or Prince or Michael. So I'm just thinking that maybe to enlighten people, and like I said, it's good that we had WRD so we can talk and listen, enlighten each other with our conversation for a solution. And I'm glad to hear that 6 are recuperating.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. And thank you for your call this morning at WURD Radio. Of course, you can also come to Great Commission Church. It's at 2043 Eastburn Avenue. Our services start at 10:45 on Sunday. Lola from Jenkintown is online, too. Go ahead, Lola.
Yes, thanks, Solomon, for taking my call. First, I want to say I'm glad for the update that you gave us an update on Sticks, because I was worried about her when I saw her walking, behind
I know, with that cone on her head.
I'm glad she's okay. So I just wanted to say that. So,
thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to get into it real quick because I know we only have a couple minutes. On Nicole Hannah, I want to say, like, she was just on with Gayle King, and she was very emotional, and I want to say that I'm glad she did make that decision, because she even said out of her own mouth that after they offered her the tenure after legal proceedings, she had to take legal action, not proceedings, legal action against them, the protest and everything. So it's almost like a slap in the face, you know what I mean? Now for them to offer it to her after she had to take legal action against them, because she would have been the only black person to have gained tenure. None of the white professors had went through any of this. They were guaranteed their spot, and she was the only one that went through all of this because of the 1619 project that she wrote. And then I wanted to touch on Roxanne Jones. I just wanted to thank her so much for what she said today, because before the racial reckoning that we witnessed in 2020 during COVID, and us people working in the corporate world, and you said you worked in the corporate world before, you go through a lot of different stuff, these microaggressions, the stuff that goes on, the systematic racism. And I even said afterwards, like, I'm going to show up in my authentic self. And not that I didn't before, but sometimes you just tone down who you are. Like, I sent an email around and said, listen, after everything that has happened, I hope, we're coming back to work. I don't want to have any microaggressions, any tone-deaf emails. I just put a lot of stuff in it in a respectful manner to speak how I want to come back to work after being away for a year and a half, not on a vacation, but because of COVID, and then what happened to George Floyd, and then everything after that, and Breonna Taylor. So I just want to thank Roxanne Jones, if she's listening, that what she said really resonated with a lot of black women who are working in these spaces every single day. And I hope that we all can stand up now and come and show up as our authentic self. Thank you so much, Solomon.
Thank you, Lola. I appreciate that. And thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Walter from New Jersey is on line 3. Go ahead, Walter.
Top of the morning to you, Solomon. Enjoyed your Sunday. You gave us that good word at Acts. I think Acts 2, 1 through 16. You every day you let the Spirit move you.
Oh, thank you, man.
When I think about Nicole Hannah Jones, it reminds me of what the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reminds us: a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. And she chose to stand up, go forward, hold on, and let her light so shine as well. And I mean shine with that the Spirit moved her and all. And Cosby, wow, I concur with you and Roxanne. It's time for him to really grab his lovely wife, Dr. Camille Cosby, and his family and all, and have a family Jello pudding and just chill. Just relax in life and just, he's given all he's given and all, and because sadly his reputation has been tainted, and his reputation is, but still, I still respect him as a person, and it's about moving on. And again, enjoyed your Sunday. Thank you for enabling us to that invite that we were able to watch you online, and keep on preaching and reaching, brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And keep me in prayer. Let's go to Tim from Springfield on line 1. Go ahead, Tim.
Thank you, Solomon, for taking my call. I am very proud to know that this educator was able to keep her integrity in spite of all the stuff with the finances of that college that would not, allow her to have a position to go after her. I believe, Solomon, and I'm Caucasian, I'm white, I believe that when the very first slave was taken to America, white America became scared to death. And I believe that white America is scared to death today because of what's taking place. You saw the nonsense in Philadelphia on Saturday night when the cowards came out late at night when nobody would be around. It's just horrible for what's happening in this country. But I do believe that white America is scared to death.
Mm. Well, you know, what I'm thankful for is that you had folks of all stripes standing up against these people when they came to Philadelphia, because it was white people fighting them too. Like, no, we not coming here with that. So I appreciate that, and thank you so much, Tim, for your call as always to WURD. Of course, people weighing in on Facebook as well. Kawesa, I'm so glad everybody's so concerned about sticks. I really am.
I am too, though. I mean, you know, she's part of the family. She's part of the morning show team.
Yeah,
you know, so I'm giving her an honorary membership to the team. But yeah, no, and a lot of people were, honestly. So I know that Roxanne had weighed in a little bit earlier, and she had said, I hope Sticks is better. I think all the cats are traumatized this weekend. She said, our kitty, Miss Cleo, she's black too, was a nervous wreck, running around, hiding and hissing all weekend. And Phyllis Williams says, is responding to Roxanne saying, my Fuzzy Wuzzy was doing the same as Miss Cleo, a nervous wreck. They were getting vibes from Sticks. You have a blessed day. Be safe and stay cool. So, yeah, I know my cats were like, so about this, these gunshots out here, fireworks, what are they? And they're not afraid of anything. They are like the boldest cats ever. They're like little dogs, and they were upstairs. I looked up and the steps, and they were just both sitting there like, no, we ain't coming down there. We're not. Yeah. We're going to chill right here. You should come up here, too, with us. I don't know why you're down there. We trying to let you know it's not safe, you know. So they were, all the pets. Yeah. I'm so sorry for them.
Yeah, it is absolutely crazy. So, yeah, Sticks is okay. The cone is off. The wound is still healing, so we're going to be watching her, and y'all keep her in prayer, too. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in on today's show. I want to thank all of our guests, including Mr. Richard Hunt, who is sculptor extraordinaire, Dr. Delana Wardlaw, Dr. Elena McDonald, Roxanne Jones, CNN commentator as well. And we also want to thank the gentleman who came from Fenn, Thomas Farrington. And we want to thank each and every one of you. And you know what? I want to give a special shout out to Nicole Hannah-Jones. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for saying thanks, but no thanks. Thank you for being your authentic black self. We certainly appreciate you, and we appreciate the stance that you took. And now, of course, super producer Kawesa Mathis and everyone here at WURD Radio, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Tune in tomorrow at 7 for more. Wake up with Word. Peace.